A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Well, Jane is quite intrigued with Mr. and Mrs. Fredericks, the new next-door neighbors. Ethel Fredericks is the type of woman who manages her husband's business from behind the scenes. She's told Jane she should take a hand in Mr. Race's business. Mrs. Fredericks even selects Mr. Fredericks' clothes. That's all Jane had to hear. This episode is in alternating scenes between the Aces bungalow and the Fredericks home next door. But first to the Aces living room. Mr. Race is alone with his evening paper. Jane enters from the next room. Listen.
Dear, I've got a surprise for you.
What?
I want you to go into the bedroom and you'll find something there. I want you to put it all on and come back in here. Now go ahead. I won't take reading for an answer.
Oh, but I am reading. I just got interested. What is all this? What do you mean put it on? Put what on?
It's a surprise. Will you please do what I say?
Will you please tell me what's going on around here?
Oh, I knew I was going to have this trouble with you. You're so obsolete.
Put what on?
Oh, I give up. A person can't have any surprises around you.
Put what on?
Oh, what does a person usually put on?
Airs?
Of course. So go into the bedroom and you'll find... Airs? No, I'm talking about a suit.
A suit?
Yes, a suit. You wouldn't show up when we made a date to go shopping for some clothes.
Now, look, Jane,
You thought you just left me standing there holding the bank. Well, I fooled you. I went in and bought you some things without you being there.
Bought me what kind of thing?
Everything you need. A suit, shirt, ties, a pair of shoes. You're going to be dressed up from head to tail. You're not going to go to business like you do now. First impressions last. And if you won't look after yourself, I will. It's a right place to see to it.
Just a minute, Jane. You're kidding, of course.
Kidding? Do I look like I'm kidding? Go in there and see if you think I am.
But a suit, you couldn't buy me a suit. You don't even know my size. You don't know what color I like.
Well, I went to the store where you always buy your clothes, and I met a man there that knows you. He knows just your size. Of course, there may be a few altercations, but he said...
I'll say there's going to be a few altercations. Jane, I told you I didn't want any new clothes now.
It's not a matter of want. It's a matter of need. You need it.
For what?
To wear.
Where?
Now, dear, don't stutter. There's no use getting upset.
I'm not. That isn't this awful.
There's nothing of the kind. You're going to look marvelous. Now, go in and put it on. I laid out the tie and a white shirt.
You bought a tie, too?
I bought several ties. But you wear the one I laid out there. It matches the suit.
Where did you get the money for all this?
I charged it.
Charged it to whom?
To the first of the month.
To the first? I haven't any charge account at that store.
I know, dear. I started one.
You started it?
It's all right. The man said it was all right.
But what is all this about? What do you mean I have to start dressing up to go to business?
I mean you ought to start looking nice. People come in and do business with you, and sometimes they don't want to pay what you want them to. And if they think you need the money, they won't pay it. But if you look like you've got a lot of money and you don't care, so 9 times 10 they will.
Whatever that means. And the solution of the whole thing is for me to wear a new suit every day.
Yes. Oh, no, not every day, but look nice every day. And it's a wise business to see to it that you do. That's where I come in. Now go out.
What?
Go out and put it on and come back here and let me see how you look.
Oh, you want me to model it for you?
Yes.
Suppose you don't like it.
Oh, I like it. Don't worry about that.
Well, suppose I don't like it.
The suit, you will like it. You can't help but like it.
I don't like you buying my suits for me. I can tell you that.
Why?
Because I don't.
That's no answer. Just tell me why your wife can't buy your suit. You must have something against her.
I have.
What?
Screwball.
Now, that's a fine name to call me.
I didn't call...
Screwball, huh?
I didn't say screwball.
After I worked my head to the bone, picking things out.
Oh, well, don't cry about
I
it.
can't help it. You act like I bought all this for myself. I bought it for you because I want you to look nice. I know,
Jane. I know you did, but don't
the least you can do is put it on. Let me see how it looks.
Oh, all right. I'll put it on. I'll put on everything.
Well, that's better. Now, go ahead and come back in here and let me see it.
Yes, Jane, yes. Anything to keep peace.
Attaboy. Now, wear the white shirt I laid out and the tie. And I put a fresh handkerchief in the pocket of the coat. Let it stick out a little.
Yes, I think I understand about that, Jane.
How do I get in this thing?
If you have any trouble getting into it, call me. Hello? Is that you, Ethel? This is James. Well, he's gone in to put it on. Now, I want you and Baxter to come over pretty soon. Oh, about 10 minutes, I guess. I want you to see if you think it's conservative enough. Well, I think it is. I got just what you told me. Oh, yes, I got ties and everything. He's going to put on one of the new ties, too. It matches his suit just... what? Yes, a white shirt. Yes, I understand. Always a white shirt for business. I didn't tell him that part yet. I will. I'll have to tell him in a roundabout way. I didn't want to tell him everything at once. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Ethel. I cried like you told me. Yes, and it worked just like you said. I had the hardest time to keep him laughing while I was crying because I thought it was working so well. So I kept a perfect face, and he fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Now, you and Baxter come over in about 10 minutes. I think you'll be dressed up there. We'll be over very shortly. I'm so glad it all worked out so well. Goodbye, my dear. Baxter, we're going next door for a visit.
Oh, is that Jane?
Yes, she wants us to come over and look at a new suit she picked out for her husband today.
A new suit she picked out?
Yes, get into your coat while I put on a little lipstick.
Does she pick out her husband's suit, too?
Of course.
Was that her idea, Ethel?
You know better than that. Of course it wasn't.
Oh, but Ethel, do you think you could put ideas like that into her head? After all...
Why not? Those ideas haven't done you any harm, have they?
No, Ethel, no.
I don't mind passing on the benefits of my experience to another. If it'll help him half as much as it has you, I'll be very happy.
You didn't ask for help.
What was that?
I simply said I didn't know he wanted any help.
Nonsense. He can certainly use it.
But he seems to be doing all right.
Of course he is. That's just the point. He's doing just all right. Just as you'd be doing if I didn't take a hand. I suppose you're going to deny that.
No, Ethel, no.
But then what are you talking about?
Well, I just meant he seems like the kind of fellow that's willing to make a little less and work a little less to have a little time to relax and get his mind off of business for a while. Why, I've only met him 2 or 3 times, but I'll bet he plays golf 3 or 4 afternoons a week.
And I suppose you don't.
Oh, yes, I do. I play with business contacts. People I expect to make money out of. Gee, I'd like to play with friends, just for the fun of the game.
Oh, you sound like a child, as if I had taken your toys away from you.
Well, I was only saying...
When I think of the nights I lie awake, scheming for your success.
I know that.
And then I think of what I gave up when I married you. You act as if I'm driving you, standing over you with a whip.
Oh, no, Ethel, please don't. Don't cry.
Oh, I think of night and day as you and your business and your future.
I'm sorry I said anything, Ethel. Come on. We'll go over and visit the issue. Come on, honey. Put on your lipstick and we'll sit around and have a nice, enjoyable evening tonight. Ready or not, here I come.
I'm ready, dear. Come in.
Well, Jane, say something.
I'm unspeakable.
What?
Dear, that's the most marvelous suit you ever had. Why, it fits you like a glove on the wall, and those shoulders. Well, you don't look like a football player. Or did you leave the hanger in?
The hanger? No, I didn't.
That's right. Just enough color in it to bring out the gray in the suit.
Yes, it does at that. I was a little afraid of this sort of pinky tie, but it does look pretty nice at that.
White shirt, that's the thing.
Well, it makes me look a little too dressed up.
You're going to wear white shirts to business every day. Do you like that color gray for a suit?
Well, it's a little gayer than I've been wearing.
Oh, I do. That invincible stripe is what makes it.
The invincible stripe?
Yes, the man kept telling me it was marvelous, but seeing it on you, I just can't get over how... Hold on, let me see how it looks in the back.
Well, it fits pretty good, what I could see of it in the mirror in there.
Pretty good. Well, it's like a glove on the wall here.
Like a glove on the wall?
Walk over there.
Where?
Anywhere, let me see. That's it. Just sort of walk along haphazardly. Oh, it's marvelous. And those shoes. Now, no more tan shoes.
Why not? What's the matter with tan shoes?
You don't look good in tan shoes.
But I've always worn them.
Now, dear, let bygones be bygones. From now on, I'm going to take charge of what you wear.
Oh, I don't think that will be necessary, Jane. After all, I'm old enough to take care of myself.
Oh, you are not. There's a lot of little things about clothes you don't know.
For instance?
Yes. Oh, I can't get over
I say, what do you mean, a lot of little things I don't know?
Well, like when you wear a striped gray suit like that, you must either wear a plain tie or one with a little stripe in it, not any of those circles. Now, you take that pink stripe and that tie
Yeah,
there.
it's a little loud, I think.
Oh, it isn't to me. I can't hear a thing. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, I wish somebody was here to see how you look. Oh, speak of the devil, and there they are.
Who?
Oh, I don't know. Just a minute.
Oh, I better get out of this stuff. I can't be lounging around the house in a new
No,
suit.
dear. Now, just stay right there. Don't go away.
Well, what?
Yeah, come in. Look who's here.
Who is it,
My
Frank?
dear.
Oh.
Yes, come right back.
Good evening.
Just fine. Come in. Dear, Evelyn Baxter are here. Good evening, Mr. A.
Oh, hello. Hello, Baxter. How are you? Glad to see you.
Well, sit down, everybody.
Yes, have a chair. I didn't expect company. Company. What is this?
What is it, dear?
Where did you get that suit? What? My suit? That suit? Well, that's exactly the same suit and that tie. Well,
James, how could you? You told me the kind to get, and I got just what you said.
Why, see together now.
Jane's intentions were good anyhow. We learn more of her interest in her husband's business when next we meet the Easy Aces.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. On the way back to the office, you receive a call. It's about an attempted suicide. You're in the immediate vicinity. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, March 24th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Friday. We were answering an ambulance follow-up, attempted suicide. It was 11:52 p.m. when we got to 2296 Whitworth Drive. Front door.
The place is sure lit up.
Yeah. Better try it again, huh?
Yeah.
You the police?
Yes, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Come on in.
Thank you.
He's in there to study.
Who is he?
Carl Hamlin.
Are you Mrs. Hamlin?
Yes.
Door's locked. Oh. Hamlin. Hamlin. Come on, open the door.
He has a gun. Said he was going to kill himself.
Yes, ma'am. Is there another key to this door?
No.
Want to give me a hand, Frank? We'll try to force it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's try it this way. Come on.
Guess it isn't going to give.
No. There's another way into the room, ma'am.
No, this is the only door.
How about windows?
What?
Windows leading into it.
Yes, off the front porch. Came in here drunk, caused a scene.
Down this way?
Yes.
Just the window here?
Yes, it is.
Can you see anything?
No, let me have your flashlight.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. I can see him there on the floor.
Can't you do something? He might still be alive.
Well, the string's locked.
You got something to cut it with?
Just a minute. Try these keys. Yeah. That's got it.
Good. Okay. See if we can get the window open.
Yeah. No, I can't. I'm going to have to break this, man.
Well, I don't care as long as you get to him.
All right. I'm going to hold the light for him.
Yeah.
You better stand back, man. The glass
Hurry,
here.
please.
All
Just
right.
hurry.
Can you reach the latch from there?
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got it.
I'll give you a hand in.
All right.
Can you see if he's still alive?
Just a minute. We'll have to get into the room first, ma'am.
Watch your step there, Joe.
Yeah. All right, come on. I'll give you a hand.
All right.
Thanks. As soon as the ambulance gets here, will you show the attendant how to get in?
Yes, can you tell if he's alive yet?
No, ma'am, not yet. I'm going to get the door. I'll check the victim.
Yeah. How about it?
We better have the attendant look at him.
Uh-huh. Take a look at that. No wonder we couldn't force the door.
Yeah, the chair under the knob.
Locked and bolted. He must have wanted real privacy.
Looks like he's got it now.
That's the room right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Oh,
He's dead. Carl's dead.
You want to wait in there, ma'am?
I didn't think he'd really do it.
How about it?
Just a minute. No, nothing. He's dead. That his wife?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to have to do this, ma'am, but there are a couple of things I've got to know.
Go ahead.
Want to give me his full name?
Carl Hamlin,
His age?
43.
Does he live here?
No. We had a house over in Bronson, 947. You have to go through all this.
No, that's all, Mrs. Hamlin. I get the rest of it later.
Frank,
Yeah.
you want to finish up here?
Sure.
It's all so wrong. Carl's dead. It's all wrong.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything we can get for you?
No.
Do you want to go in the other room and sit down? Well, that's better. Would you like to call your doctor for you?
I've already called him from my mother. He's on the way over.
Where is she now?
In the back bedroom, she's laying down. This whole thing's been a shock for her.
Yes, ma'am. I can understand.
When I talked to him, he said for me to give her one of the pills he prescribed. It's supposed to make her sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to talk to her.
Yes, we probably will.
I hope you won't have to do it tonight. This whole thing's been a terrible shock to her. She's not too well anyway.
Well, we'll try to avoid upsetting her any further.
I'd appreciate it more than I could tell you.
All right, Miss Hamlin. There are a few questions we've got to ask if you feel up to answering them.
Might as well get it over with. What do you want to know?
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Well, Carl came over tonight, drunk. He caused a big scene.
Your husband doesn't live here, then?
No, we're separated.
I see. Who was here when the shooting took place?
My mother and myself.
Anybody else living here?
No, just the two of us.
All right. What time did Mr. Hamlin get here?
I'm not sure. I was asleep.
I beg your pardon?
I was asleep. I don't know.
I see. You weren't expecting him then?
No. Last time I saw him, I told him to leave me alone. Said I'd get a court order if I had to.
Yeah.
We've been separated about a week this time.
This isn't the first time, then?
No, there've been other times. This was the worst. I told him I was finished, but I didn't want anything more to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been calling. Here, where I work, most of the time he was drunk. Kept asking for reconciliation, saying how sorry he was and asking me to take him back.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming it all on him. I know some of it was my fault.
All right, you want to go on?
He called me this afternoon. He had to see me. He had it all worked out so we could get back together again.
Uh-huh.
I told him I didn't want to see him. I said for him to stay away.
Yeah.
I came home and told my mother about it. Said Carl might show up, but if he did, I didn't want to see him.
All right, go
I
on.
kind of half expected him to show up, but he didn't. I went to bed after the 10:30 news. Mother stayed up to read.
Mm-hmm.
First I knew there was anything wrong when I heard the shot. I got up and came right downstairs. Mother was standing in front of the study door. She told me that Carl was inside, that he'd shot himself.
Uh-huh.
When I tried to call him, first I thought he was playing some kind of a joke.
Yeah.
My mother said she'd heard Carl fall down in the room. I called you right away.
Joe.
Yeah. What do you got?
DOA slip. I'll put in a call to the photo lab in the corner.
Okay.
I checked the guns, 38 revolver, one shot fired.
Well, that fits with the story I just got from his wife.
Mm-hmm. I'll make the calls. Wonder if I could use your phone, Mrs. Hamlin.
What?
I'd like to use your phone, please.
Oh, it's in the hall, on the table there.
Thank you.
Did your mother tell you what happened?
Yes, in a way.
Well, how do you mean that?
She's over 70, Sergeant Friday. A thing like this isn't easy to go through at that age.
I see.
Well, my mother and Carl didn't get along. He always said that she caused the trouble between us. Told me a couple of times that if she'd keep her nose out of our business, we might be able to get along.
Uh-huh. Wonder if it'd be possible for us to talk to her.
You have to.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
I'll go see.
All right, thank you.
Crew's on the way, Joe.
Going to be more policemen out here?
Yes, ma'am. We'll try to make it as brief as possible.
I'd appreciate it.
We'll do everything we can.
I'll go get my mother.
Thank you.
She gave you the story?
As much as she knew.
What do you mean?
Well, she says she wasn't in the room at the time. Her mother saw it happen.
Oh.
Did you turn anything in the other room?
Mm-mm.
As soon as we get a statement from her mother and the coroner gets here, we can shove off.
Yeah.
You can sit over here, Mother. Yes, dear. These men want to ask you some questions. This is my mother, Mrs. Gaylor, Sergeant Friday. This is Officer Smith.
How do you do, ma'am?
Hi, ma'am.
How do you do?
We'll try to make this as brief as possible, Mrs. Gaylor. Just a couple of questions we've got to ask.
You go right ahead. If you get tired, Mother, you tell them and they'll stop. Yes, dear.
And what time did your son-in-law get here tonight?
I'm not sure. I think it was about 11:30.
Uh-huh.
Nora told me Mr. Hamlin might be coming over. But that time of night, you'd hardly expect anybody to come calling, would you?
No, ma'am.
He did. He always was doing something no one else did. I think he just sat around and tried to figure things to do that was different.
Mm-hmm.
Like tonight. Came in drunk, yelled about how he wanted to have a showdown. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Started to yell at me. Told me how the split up was my fault. Started to curse at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 73, Mr. Friday. I've seen a lot of things. Met a lot of people. Isn't anybody who can talk to me like that. I told Mr. Hamlin. Told him to get out of the house. That's when he pulled his gun out of his pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
Had it right in his coat, the outside pocket.
I see.
I told him. I said, Mr. Hamlin, you just stop this foolishness and get out of here. That's what I said to him.
Yes, ma'am.
He just looked at me and said, yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Those are the exact words. Then he told me how he's going to kill himself to show me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was some kind of dramatics. Mr. Hamlin was that kind, you know, always play acting around.
Yes, ma'am.
Not this time. Next thing I know, he ran into the study and locked the door. After that, there was a shot, and I heard him fall down. Right then's when Nora came into the room.
All right, Miss Gaylor. I think we have all the information we need now.
Okay, if I go to bed then?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Good night, then. You want to help me, dear? Yes, Mother. I'll be right with you. I'll be waiting up for you. Mr. Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything more you want to know about Mr. Hamlin? I'll tell you.
No, I don't think there'll be anything else, ma'am.
If there is, I'll tell you.
All right. Thank you, Miss Gaylor.
I'll be in my room, Nora. All right, Mother. I'll be right there. Taking this a lot better than I thought she would.
Mm-hmm. Miss Hamlin.
Yes.
Did your husband ever talk about suicide before?
Yes, several times. Just this last week, I thought he was being dramatic again. I didn't pay much attention to him. It's so hard to tell if he was drunk or if he really meant something.
Mm-hmm.
All the years we were married, I don't think he was ever really serious.
You got it wrong, haven't you?
Hmm?
He was this time. 1:14 a.m. The photographer got to the house and took pictures of the room. The coroner removed the body to the county morgue, and at 2:37 a.m., Frank and I left the house. We went back to the office and filled out the 3.11.1 form, listing the death of Carl Martin Hamlin as a suicide. Frank called the coroner's office to find when we could get the results of the autopsy. They told us we'd have the necessary information late that afternoon. 3:18 a.m., we signed out of the office and went home. At 10:15 that morning, we got a call from Ray Pinker. He asked us to come right over to the crime lab.
We were running a routine check this morning. Came up with a couple of things I think you'd like to know.
All right, what you got, Ray?
Here, take a look. This is a bullet we fired from the gun found in the victim's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, there. You can see it weighs 130 grains.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is the bullet that killed the man. Take a look.
That's all out of shape.
Mm-hmm. See anything else?
No, looks all right to me.
Yeah, what are you building, Ray? Well, I checked this one pretty carefully. Made sure that all of it was here. You know, that none of the lead had been sheared off the bone tissue.
Yeah.
None missing. It's complete.
Yeah.
Now, take a look. Yeah, let me put this one on the scale. Now, check it yourself.
95 grains.
Yeah? 35 grains difference. Well, let me show you something else here. I figured the length of both bullets. They don't check out either.
What's it mean, Ray?
The bullet that killed Hamlin's a .380. It's a European calibration.
Mm-hmm.
The gun he had in his hand's a .38 revolver.
Yeah.
.380's automatic ammunition.
Yeah.
This fella Hamlin pulled a pretty neat trick.
Well, what do you mean, Ray?
He killed himself with a bullet that couldn't possibly be fired from the gun he was holding.
Huh. Something sure out of place.
Yeah. Might as well tear up the forms you filled out on this one. No suicide.
Yeah.
You got to find the murder gun.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
11:12 a.m. Frank and I, along with Ray Pinker, left the crime lab and we drove out to see Nora Hamlin. From the physical evidence on hand, the way the door had been locked, and the fact that the windows had been bolted from the inside, it appeared unlikely that anybody could have left the room after Carl Hamlin had been shot. Yet from the information we'd gotten from Pinker, there had to be another gun involved in the killing. 11:24 a.m. We got to the house on Whitmore Drive.
Good morning. I didn't expect to see you back so soon. You want to come in?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Hamlin, this is Mr. Pinker from our crime lab. Ray, Miss Hamlin.
It's nice to know you, Mr. Pinker.
How do you do?
Are there some more questions you have to ask?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. What if we could take another look at the study?
Oh, sure. Didn't the men who were here last night get what they needed?
Well, we'd just like to check it again with Mr. Pinker here.
Uh-huh. Well, you know where it is.
How's your mother feeling this morning?
She had a good sleep. The doctor gave her a sedative. She's still in bed.
We'll try not to disturb her.
Well, you go ahead with what you have to do. I'm trying to get the house in order. If there's anything you want, I'll be across the hall.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right over here, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we found him. You can see there where we had to break the window to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You got that sketch you made last night?
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. You want to take a look, Ray?
Yeah.
There you can see the body was about here.
Mm-hmm.
Over here. And the feet were about here. That's about right, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah. It was right next to the chair there.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I got it there. Just about on the perfect line between the floor lamp and the chair over there.
Mm-hmm. What about the gun?
In his right hand.
Was the gun in his hand when you found him?
Yeah, that's right. Pictures from the photo lab will bear that out.
Sure is out in left field.
How do you mean?
I talked to Doc Newbar when he sent the bullet over.
Mm-hmm.
The way he described the wound, it's pretty tough to buy that a right-handed man could shoot himself so the slug would end up where it did.
Exactly how do you mean?
Well, the bullet entered just to the right of the center of his chest. About here.
Uh-huh.
Came to rest under the right arm, here. Line of travel's way off.
Sure would have been an easier way to do it, huh?
Yeah. What about the door when you found it?
I'll show you how it was locked. Give me that chair, Frank.
Yeah. Here you go.
Now, the key was turned. Bolt was thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And then this chair was propped up under the knob like this.
Mm-hmm. How about the key? Was it still in the lock?
Yeah.
Sure looks like he meant the door to stay shut.
Yeah, we could figure that.
Place looks pretty solid. Plaster walls. Not much chance of anybody getting through them.
Mm-hmm.
You checked the bookcases?
What do you mean?
Any of them pull away from the wall?
Well, I looked at them last night. They all seemed solid enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got any ideas, Ray?
I don't know. The way that door looks, the rest of the room, doesn't seem likely anybody could have shot him and then gone outside and locked the door.
Think they could have come in through the window?
You had to break it.
Yeah.
The way it's set up, you shouldn't have any trouble finding the suspect.
What do you mean?
Find a butler built like an envelope.
Mighty funny.
You didn't see a shell casing around last night, did you?
Well, there wasn't any reason to look for it.
Mm-hmm. There's no sign of one now. Looks like the room's been cleaned.
Yeah. Well, I guess we better check with the Hamlin woman, huh?
And get this stuff away from the door.
Miss Hamlin? Miss Hamlin?
Oh, yes, just a minute. Something you want?
Yes, ma'am. Has anybody been in the study since we left last night?
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. You didn't say anything about it.
Well, did you clean the room?
Yes, I told you. I was straightening up the house. I ran the vacuum in here.
Did you see an empty shell casing?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it looks like this, ma'am. See? The brass part on this bullet.
No, I didn't see anything like that.
Have you emptied your cleaner since you used it this morning?
No.
Wonder if we could see it.
Sure. I don't understand what this is all about, but if you want to see the vacuum, I'll get it.
If you want to tell me where it is, I'll get it for you.
Oh, it's no trouble. In the closet here in the hall.
Can I give you a hand with it?
It's not heavy. You want the attachments, too?
No, ma'am. Just the cleaner itself.
All right. There it is.
Mm-hmm. All right if we use a piece of this newspaper?
Sure, go ahead. I guess you know what you're doing.
This is the way you take the dust bag out?
Yeah, just flip that little catch on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll tell me what you're looking for, I might be able to help.
How about it, Ray?
Yeah. Here it is.
380?
Yeah.
What's all that mean?
Do you have another gun in the house, Miss Hamlin?
No.
Pretty sure about that?
Yes. What makes you think there might be another one?
Well, how many shots did you hear last night, Miss Hamlin?
What do you mean?
Well, just that. How many shots did you hear?
One.
You sure about that?
Yes, why?
We've got reason to believe that there were 2 shots fired.
What difference does it make how many there were?
Pretty big difference.
Why is it important? My husband killed himself. Can't be sure how many I heard. 1, 2, 3, half a dozen. What difference does it make?
Well, we'll try to explain it to you. Your husband was holding a .38 caliber revolver when we found him. But the bullet that killed him came from a .380 automatic.
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you trying to say?
Well, I think you'll understand this. Your husband didn't kill himself.
You're not serious.
Afraid we are, ma'am.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
The evidence makes it true.
Who'd kill him? Who'd have a reason?
We'd like to know that, too.
Would you get your mother, please?
What do you want to talk to her about?
What if you get it, please?
I'm not going to have her dragged into anything. She's had enough trouble. There's no reason for you to make any more.
Don't worry about it, Nora.
Mother, you shouldn't be out of bed.
I heard you talking. I've been listening. Haven't seen you before. You policeman, too?
No, ma'am. I'm Ray Pinker.
How do you do? Jessie Gaylor, Nora's mother.
How are you?
Now, what's all this about Mr. Hamlin not killing himself?
That's right, Miss Gaylor.
What makes you think it is?
A lot of things. Do you have a gun in the house?
You mean a pistol?
That's right.
Might. Why?
Where is it?
In the table there. Left-hand drawer.
I'll get it. How about it? .380. That gun belonged to you, Miss Gaylor?
Yes. My husband had it.
Mm-hmm.
All this talk about Mr. Hamlin. If he didn't kill himself, who do you think did?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out.
Uh-huh. But you got somebody you're looking at, haven't you? Somebody you figure did it?
This is your gun.
Uh-huh.
You're the only person who witnessed the shooting.
That's right.
Well, why don't you tell us about it?
Because if I did, you'd never believe it.
Well, give us a try, huh?
All right. Mr. Hamlin came here last night, like I said. He was drunk. Came in and started yelling. I was sitting in that chair reading. He started to curse at me.
Yeah.
I didn't pay him no mind. Told him to go away. But Nora was through with him. He wouldn't go.
Yes, ma'am.
All of a sudden, he pulled out a gun and started waving it around. Said if I didn't get Nora, he'd kill himself. I thought it was just some more of his play acting.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't pay any attention to him. Figured when he was through, he'd go away. I went back to the book. Made him madder than ever.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed the book out of my hand and shot. Shot right at it. Then he threw it into the fireplace.
He threw your book into the fireplace, is that right?
That's right. Just all of a sudden, something happened to me. I don't think I've ever been so mad. I took the gun out of the table there and shot him. Got real scared and ran into the study. Closed the door behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I heard him lock the door and move something up to the door.
Must have been the chair.
Yeah, I guess it was. Right after that, I heard him fall down. Right after that, Nora came into the room.
Why didn't you tell me, Mother?
Wasn't any reason to. I had to think about it. But I'd done what I had to do. I was going to call you men this morning and tell you the truth. I really was. You believe that?
Well, I guess so.
I really was. Just all of a sudden last night when he shot my book, I've never been so mad. I really wanted to kill him.
You remember it all pretty well, don't you?
Yes, I do. All of it.
You want to get a coat, Miss Gaylor? We'll have to take you downtown.
Yes, sir. I'll do it right away.
Better go with her, Frank.
Yeah.
Is it going to be all right?
We don't decide that, ma'am.
But she told the truth. Isn't that going to make a difference?
We'll put it down that way. You want to get that book, Ray? We're going to need it.
Yeah.
She didn't say a word about it.
Yeah, I know. Story's still pretty hard to believe, isn't it?
Here we are. Here's the book Hamlin shot. Slug's still in it. Looks like a .38.
Mm-hmm.
Might have made her mad enough to kill him.
Yeah?
What is it, Mr. Friday?
Holy Bible. The story you have just heard is true. The
the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 14th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Jessie Margaret Gaylor was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and found to be insane during the commission of the crime. A sanity hearing was held, and she was made a ward of the state. She was placed in the state hospital at Mendocino for treatment.
This week, a group of men are meeting in New Orleans for the 61st Annual Conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Dragnet is pleased to extend its best wishes to our top law enforcement officers and to thank them for the protection they give our homes and families. May their convention be an outstanding success.
Dragnet, the story of your police force in action, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
The world he goes around in. It's about the big music, and the big trouble, and the big 20s. So when they ask you, tell them this one's about the blues. Pete Kelly's Blues. Pete Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Kepner.
My name's Pete Kelly. I play cornet. You'll find us at 417 Cherry Street, Kansas City. It's a standard speakeasy. The whiskey matches the color of your money. It's a fairly quiet crib, never any real serious trouble. The competing torpedoes in town regard it as a sort of a neutral zone, a place to meet and maybe talk things over before going to the gun. The Switzerland of Kansas City. The lease is owned by George Lupo. He's a fat, friendly little guy who has only 2 things in his life, dollars and cents. We start grinding every night at about 10, and we play till the cash register tape gives out. But that's all right with us. He lets us play the kind of music we like and pays off with a smile. Sometimes we even manage to get a few bucks. Last night we were dragging through the lull hour of the first set when the distinguished old guy came in. I'd seen him in the place many times before, always with the Dutchman and 2 or 3 of the Dutchman's guns. He'd sit at their table, letting their whispers float around his gray hair, never taking part, just sit quiet, gaining slowly on the open bottle in front of him, staring at a point that probably didn't exist. This was the first time I'd seen him without the Dutchman. He started to sit at the usual place, hesitated, looked around the half-filled room, took the small table in the corner near the bar. He smiled up at me as he poured his first drink. There was nobody behind it. We went into the wind-up.
Man, we sure drag heel tonight. What's up next, Pete?
Nothing. My lip's raw. Let's get off for a while.
You're burning that lip at both ends, Petey. Slow down.
You want a beer at the bar, Red?
No, thanks, Petey. I'll catch me a hunk of fresh air in the alley.
All right. On your way out, throw some nickels in the pianola, will you?
Right. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah? Forgive me, I spoke quite on impulse. I find myself the sudden victim of an overwhelming desire for companionship.
Yeah. I see you're alone tonight.
I'm alone every night. Well, please sit down, if only for a minute.
Larry?
Thank you. What will you drink?
A little of that ginger ale will do fine. You expecting your friends?
That's the one thing I can count on tonight, the arrival of my friends. I should like to compliment you, Mr. Kelly.
On what?
Your music. I must confess I don't really understand it, but I do understand and recognize one thing, faith. You play your cornet as though you believe in it.
Thanks.
That is a priceless thing, Mr. Kelly. Faith and a belief in something. Never lose it, sir. Because when you do, you're lost yourself.
Yeah. Well,
No, please. Just sit another small minute.
All right.
I lied to you, Mr. Kelly. I told you I wanted companionship. No. What I really want is an audience. There are so many things I want to say and so little time left in which to say.
Sounds like you're about to get married. Have another drink, huh?
You think I'm drunk, don't you? Well, you're right, I am. But not on whiskey.
Yeah. You're scared, aren't you? Is that it?
Yeah. Feel my heart. Expending enough energy to power a modest side dance.
What are you afraid of?
All evening I've been asking myself that same question. What am I afraid of? Surely it can't be the loss of life. And yet...
You sick?
With a disease for which neither man nor magician has yet been able to effect a cure. The wrath of a killer.
You're a target. Is that it?
I, as you so graphically put it, am a target.
A Dutchman?
A Dutchman.
Look, I don't make this. Right now, you should be 2 yards the other side of Baffin Bay.
The streets are lined with the Dutchman's guns.
But you gotta make a pass at it. You can't just say, okay, here's my head with a 50-cent cigar in it. Don't you want to live?
I thought not. My adrenals refuse to concur.
Look, isn't there somebody to help get you out of town? A friend?
I have no friend, except the Dutchman.
The law? Yeah. Now, look, I gotta get back up there. Take this key. Hotel George, around the corner. Go up to my room. There's no reason for him to look for you up there. We'll think of something.
Do you think so? Do you really think so?
Now, look, we're gonna try. If we can't, we'll need 2 50-cent cigars. Now, go on.
P?
Yeah, Red.
What's the matter with the senator?
Nothing 1,000 miles won't cure. All right. Let's do goose pimples. All right, everybody ready? Oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Red, take over. I'm going to duck out for a while.
What's wrong, Petey?
My lip. It's starting to limp.
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
Mr. Kelly? Which Mr. Kelly?
How many Mr. Kellys you got in this crib?
Never mind, Jamie. I'm ready.
You asked the punk nice, is he, Mr. Kelly, so he gives you with a snotty which Mr. Kelly?
All right, Jamie. Please forgive Jamie. He hasn't had much sleep lately. Yeah, will you wake him up and tell him there's another Kelly? Bob Kelly works downstairs in the plant. Maybe he's the boy you want.
No, we're looking for Pete Kelly.
Yeah?
Yes, Pete Kelly.
Oh, not Bob Kelly.
Not Bob Kelly, Pete Kelly.
Yeah. Well, I'm Pete Kelly.
I'm Pete Kelly.
We'd like to talk to you for a minute.
Sure.
Outside?
Outside?
Just in the alley. Private.
Yeah, well, I'd like to oblige you, but you see, friend, I got a job to do here.
Outside.
All right, Jamie. Mr. Kelly understands.
Yeah. I'll be right back, Red.
Yeah. Smoke, Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. You like my brand?
Your brand?
Gold tip. You like it?
Yeah, sure. I never smoke anything else.
There was an elderly gentleman inside this evening. He also smoked some. Did you smoke one of his?
Elderly gentleman?
Yes, about 55, my height, gray hair, blue eyes. He sat at your table. He had a nice drink with him. You smoked a cigarette of his.
Sorry, I haven't seen anybody all night.
All right, Terry, let's get to it. Stop with the circle talk.
Easy.
We got the rumble you was talking to.
Well, you're wrong.
Were you? All right. Go on me.
That's enough.
Yeah, all right. Now, you listen, Junior. The next time you push your hands on me, you walk away without them.
You deserve that, Jamie. You have to learn when to and when not to. Jamie's young, Mr. Kelly. He thinks he has to make his reputation in one night.
Can he be friendly? Can he be nice? Can he be honest? Why can't he tell us the truth and let us go about our business?
That's fair enough. Isn't that fair enough, Mr. Kelly? Isn't Jamie right this time?
Yeah, sure.
Seems to me he's being fair. Seems to me he's right this time.
I'm always fair. I just ask for cooperation.
That's it. That's all. That's all we ask. Just cooperation. And, mister, you're going to cooperate. Army surplus, mister. This gun's been to France and back.
What do you want?
Small hunk of truth. You sat and talked to this gentleman?
You see? He ain't going to cooperate.
Yeah, I talked to him.
What about?
This and that.
What's this and what's that?
Music.
What else?
Horses.
What else?
Women.
What else?
That's all.
You're lying.
Terry says you're lying. He knows. It's his business to know.
Music, yes. Horses and women, no, not him. You're lying.
He was drunk.
How drunk?
Drunk enough to talk about horses and women?
What's his name?
He didn't say.
Where's he now?
I don't know.
You saw him go?
I left him at the table.
All right.
That's it, Terry?
For now. Mr. Kelly says he doesn't know where he is. Maybe he's telling the truth.
You got it all.
But if you're lying, Jamie's going to come back and see you alone.
Well, I didn't need Einstein to figure it out for me. They were a couple of the Dutchman's guns. Assignment, rub out of one old party. Method, burn down anybody in the way. And from here on in, they'd cuddle closer to me than a baby kangaroo to its mother. Well, I had to get that old party out of my room fast. I told Red to keep the boys working, and I went on the prowl for Barney Ricketts. Barney's an ex-bootlegger. He went broke in 1922. Nobody's been able to figure out how a bootlegger could go broke in 1922, and Barney refuses to tell the secret of his failure. He did it the hard way, and he isn't going to make it easy for anybody else. He wasn't at Sour Sammy's joint. He hadn't shown at Papa Pastor's, and I was starting to worry when I caught up with him at Joe Donegan's over on 12th Street. As usual, he was boiled and loud.
Ah, Pete Kelly, the Kansas City Gabriel.
Listen, Barney, I need a favor.
Without evasion, Petey, I tell you right out that your arrival is ill-timed.
A major league favor.
I was just about to pour a potion, and now I'm forced to ask you to share it with me.
No, Barney, look, there's no time.
That's your trouble, Petey. No true understanding of the meaning of time. Do you know what time in the life of one man really is? I mean, the nature of it and its function.
Yeah, I know all about it. Now, listen, Barney.
Of course you don't, and it isn't many men who will so frankly confess their ignorance. That's what I admire most about you, Petey. Your honesty in admitting to your abundant ignorance.
All right, Barney.
No, you mustn't be disheartened. The very fact that you know that you don't know is a hopeful sign. It means that you are ready to learn, and I will be your guide, counselor, and teacher.
Yeah.
Now then, take time.
All right.
And to properly understand the true nature of time, you must take time to understand it. Regard time as a valise. To each man at birth, such a valise is given, some large, some small, according to his destiny. That is the one thing which he cannot really choose, the size of the valise which we call time.
You all through now?
Yes, what are we going to put into your valise this time?
Maybe a hunk of hope for a guy who needs it.
What's his problem?
He was sitting in 417. I talked to him.
A mobster?
No, educated, cultured, gentle.
I see. A dangerous man.
No, he was lost, Barney. Lost and frightened. The kind of fright that freezes you when you're on the other side of a gun.
I see. Who fingered him?
The Dutchman.
The Dutchman?
That's right.
Tell me, is he about 55, gray hair, blue eyes?
That's right.
And you don't know who he is?
No, he didn't say.
Well, Peter, you're right and you're wrong. He's educated, cultured, gentle. But you're wrong about helping him. Nothing you or anyone else can do can stretch his valise.
Why not?
Because the Dutchman says no, that's all.
Well, who is he?
Dr. Jonathan Budd, an excellent surgeon and general practitioner.
But what's he got to do with the Dutchman?
For the last 2 years, he's been under exclusive contract to the Dutchman, sort of company medic for the Dutchman's torpedoes. On call 24 hours a day. Remove an appendix or a bullet as the circumstances may require.
I don't make it, Barney. A man like that. Why would the Dutchman want to send him over?
I don't know, Petey, and I don't want to know. Go back to Lupo's, pick up your horn, and forget all about Dr. Budd.
I can't do it.
Heed me, Petey. The Dutchman says drop dead, he'll drop dead. Don't be near him when he falls. Don't get into this, Petey.
I'm already in, Barney. I sent him up to my room.
You didn't?
He's there now, waiting for me.
Get him out of there.
I had to help him, Barney. You can't just stand by and send him into the street to be cut down. A man has to have somebody to worry about him, somebody to help him.
Get him out of there.
I can't.
Why not?
I'm being watched.
By the gun?
Yeah.
You sure?
They got the buzz I was sitting with them. They're keeping a string on me.
Petey, you fool. How long do you think it'll be before they get into your room?
That's why I came to you, Barney.
No, Pete, not this time. Not where the Dutch...
Look, they're on my back, Barney. I'll draw the guns off. Back to Lupo's. You get him out, Barney. You can do it.
And what do I do with him once I got him? Ask him what he'll charge to cut you out of my life?
Take him to the other side of the river, over to Fat Annie's. Tell Maggie Jackson. She can fold him into the shed out back. He'll be safe there.
Fine. He can make a new life for himself in Fat Annie's shed.
I'll think of something. I'll shake the guns after I get back to 417. And I'll think of something.
You do that, Petey, because if you don't, you'll be dragging a full valise before morning.
Well, I scuttled back through the streets, back to 417 Cherry. The guns were right behind me. My valise was getting fuller and heavier by the minute, and I knew I'd added a few pounds to Barney's. But that's the way it is. The guy drifts into your life, holds out a finger for help, and you take hold, and you're near to drifting out of it with him. But what can you do? You gotta take hold, or you don't sleep so good anymore. Well, Lupo glared at me with his "what am I paying you for" glare as I ducked into the joint. I started for the bandstand, and I didn't get past the bar.
Mr. Kelly?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you.
Yeah?
Could I talk to you?
Oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
Someplace alone?
What about?
It's about my name's Mary Budd.
Oh, come on, behind the bandstand.
Thank you.
Let's go, Petey. Lupo's just docked us another fin.
I'll be right with you, Red.
Yeah.
All right.
I was told you saw
Saw who?
my father,
Lots of fathers come in here. Who's yours?
Dr. Budd. Dr. Jonathan Budd.
You drive a car?
Yes.
Your license with you?
Yes.
Let me see it. Thanks. All right. Now pay attention. Your father's in trouble. The big trouble.
Why? What's happened?
The Dutchman took a dislike to him.
Who's the Dutchman?
You don't know?
My father never told me anything.
Well, you're a big girl now. The Dutchman's a man with a gun. He's pointing it at your father. All right, now hold on. Maybe we can...
Why would anybody want to kill my father?
I don't know.
He's never hurt anybody in his life. Why would this man...
Look, lady, I got no answers for
Maybe
you.
if we could find out why... Maybe we could... Are you sure you have no idea?
All I know is the Dutchman said drop dead. There's no court of appeals for that.
Yes. I understand now.
But we still got a chance. It's skinny, but it's there.
Where's my father now?
He's being taken across the river. Fat Annie's place. Boulder Road. Is your car out front?
No, I left it downtown.
Good. Go get it. Make sure you're not tailed. Go to Fat Annie's. See Maggie Jackson. I'll try to shake the Dutchman's guns after the next number. But if I can't get over to Fat Annie's, you collect your father out of that shed and back. Hit the highway north on the Kansas side. Now, you got it?
I'll never forget you for this, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, sure. settle down. Settle down, huh? What's up?
Newlyweds in from St. Joe been asking for a cornet solo for an hour.
All right, what do you think?
Well, how about Pigeon-Toed Jode?
Oh, my lip and you asked for that? All right.
All right, Pigeon-Toed Jode. You got it?
All right. I'll give you the pickup. That's all for me tonight, Red.
Let me see that.
Huh?
Yeah, you ain't fooling. Your lip's bleeding.
We'll do the next set without me, huh?
Oh, man, that Lupo, he's sure making the deducts tonight.
Where's the Erskine parked, Red?
Around on 10th Street. You better put the top up. Looks like rain.
Yeah, all right.
How long you gonna be gone?
Huh?
I said, how long you gonna be gone?
Depends on how much room is left in my valise. Well, I left the stand and headed for the men's room just like nothing was happening. I bolted the door behind me, crawled out through the small window, dropped into the alley, and lit out for 10th Street over fences and through backyards. Red's Erskine was right where it ought to be. I slammed over to 12th, rattled across the bridge, jolted down Boulder Road to Fat Annie's place. Halfway there, it started to rain. Inside Fat Annie's, business was slow. There was nobody there. Maggie Jackson was making for a piano when I got inside.
Hi, Pete. I'm glad you got here. We got a tenant in shed out back.
Yeah?
Yeah, with a short-term lease. Just a minute, Pete. All right, Ray. I ain't going nowhere, ain't seeing no one, no how, 'cause love and I are parting, starting now. I'm on good behavior, so honey savior, hello. In answer to your passes, philosophers know. I've been somewhere, seeing someone most every day of my sad life. I'm gonna trade in my mad life for something slow and safe, and so I ain't going nowhere, ain't gonna wrinkle my brow, 'cause love and I are parting, starting now. That was nice, Ray. Place is really good tonight.
Yeah, business is bad all over. Look, Maggie, how about the guy in the shed? Is he all right?
He ain't bleeding none yet.
Where's Barney?
He just dropped the package like it was hot shipments and dusted.
The girl get here yet?
What girl's that?
The tenant's daughter.
No girl showed yet, Pete.
Well, the minute she shows, Maggie, send her outside, will you?
You going to the shed, Pete?
Yeah.
Best to go through the kitchen, straight out the back.
Sure. Thanks, Maggie.
Sure. Good luck.
Doc, it's Kelly. Pete Kelly, Doc.
Come in.
You all right, Doc?
Yes. The roof leaks and I've run out of cigarettes.
Sure. Here.
Oh, thank you.
I'll give you a light.
That's good.
Yeah, now look, I think we're home safe. I'm getting you out of here.
Tell me, why do you bark?
What?
I said, why do you bark?
Look, Doc, don't confuse me.
You're an anachronism, Mr. Kelly. A moral man and the immoral jungle.
Now, look, I talked to your daughter. She'll be here soon.
You talked to my daughter?
Yeah, that's right. She's coming to pick you up.
Small girl, red hair, blue eyes?
Yeah.
Mr. Kelly, I have no daughter.
You don't?
You talked to the Dutchman Smile.
Yeah, but the license, her driving license. She showed me her driving license.
Sure she did.
I believed her.
Yes, an excellent actress. And you told her where I am. Did she ask you anything else? What you might know about the Dutchman and me?
Well, she asked. I knew nothing.
You're sure? You're sure you told her you know absolutely nothing?
Yeah, that's right.
Then you're safe. You'll be all right. They'll forgive you for trying to help me. You finally did tell them where to find me, and for that, they forgive you.
All right, come on. Now, let's get out of here. Let's get moving.
Mr. Kelly, you'd better go quickly.
Well, I got a car. We'll make a run for it.
No.
But they'll be here any minute.
And I'll be waiting for it. No use to run anymore.
Yeah.
In some strange way, I've begun to realize that I'll welcome their arrival. But I don't want to escape. You see, it's impossible for a man to escape from himself. I am nothing more than the works I have done. It is those works which decide the ultimate fate of a man. Mine, and rightly so, are about to kill me. No, we cannot escape from what we have made of ourselves.
Yeah, but look, you can start all over again. There have been others like this before. They ran, took the chance and ran.
Strange. Things taught me in my youth. Things unremembered for years. My freshman days at school. And the words of Socrates when Crito urged him to delay the drinking of the hemlock as others before him had delayed. Yes, Crito, and they of whom you speak are right in so acting, for they think that they will be gainers by the delay. But I am right in not following their example, for I do not think that I should gain anything by drinking the poison a little later. I should only be ridiculous in my own eyes for sparing and saving a life which is already forfeit. Please, then, to do as I say, and not to refuse me. And so, I ask you, Mr. Kelly, don't refuse me. Go now, please, for your sake. I'm all right.
You're not all right. They're going to kill you. Don't you understand that?
I understand.
Yeah. Sure you do. There's nothing more I can do?
Nothing. Except perhaps a cigarette.
Sure. Take the pack.
No. 2 will do.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Kelly.
Goodbye, Doc.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Please leave the door open.
Yeah.
Kelly's Blues, starring Jack Webb, with story by Joe Eisinger and music by Dick Cathcart, scoring by Matty Matlock. The music of Pete Kelly's Big Seven and Maggie Jackson is now available on phonograph record.
The proceeding was transcribed. Now join the great Gildersleeve on NBC.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. For a week, you've been on rolling stakeout looking for a gang of thieves. There's no sign of them. On the way back to the office, you get a 211 call. Your job? Investigate.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, October 9th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detective Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way back to the office when a 211 robbery call came in, and it was 12:18 a.m. when we got to the corner of Oxford and Barton Avenue. The Moyles Bar and Grill.
The officer back there. Something I can do for you?
Friday and Smith, Central Robbery.
Sorensen, Unit 6L86.
Did you answer the call here?
Yeah, I'm a partner of me. He's on the other side of the place.
What do you got?
A couple of guys and a woman shot. My partner's with him now.
Uh-huh.
One of them's one of the hold-up men.
Yeah. Did you get a description?
Yeah, just put it out.
All right.
The guy that owns the place is back there if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, we do. Did he witness the shooting?
Yeah. Mr. Moyle?
Yeah?
These men would like to talk to you. This is Sergeant Friday, Officer Smith.
How do you do, sir?
How are you?
How do you do?
Anything more you need me for, Sergeant?
No, that's all, thanks.
We'll check the vicinity, see if we can come up with anything for you.
Good. You guys will handle the crime report, will you?
Yeah.
Right. Frank, you want to check with the ambulance crew while I talk to Moyles here?
Yeah, sure.
You want to tell me what happened?
I just told the other officer about it. Isn't that enough?
Well, we'd like to get the story from you.
Do you mind if we go over and sit down? The whole thing's been a strain.
Surely. This all right here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. You want to start?
First off, I'd like to ask you a question.
What's that?
Do I look like a weakling to you?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, sir.
Not at all. Simple arithmetic. I'm 5'10", 185, never run from a fight in my life.
Uh-huh.
Work in a bar, you handle some pretty tough ones. Loudmouths, guys that are trying to make time with some girl. You meet them all.
Mm-hmm.
Never had trouble with any of the rough times. Stood up and was counted.
Yes, sir. You could just tell us about the shooting.
Just what I'm getting to. First time in my life I wanted to dig a hole in the floor. Got to me.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm not a coward, but when them bullets started going around, I wanted out. O-U-T.
Yes, sir, I understand. Now, suppose you tell me what happened here.
Around 11:30, there were only a couple of people in the place. Young couple over here having coffee. And Elaine and George.
Who are they?
Two of the people who were shot. George Traber and Elaine Cronin. They're regulars.
I see.
They're sitting here having a beer. We're talking.
Uh-huh.
Almost every night, Elaine comes in after work. She's a waitress. Nice girl, real sensible.
What about Traber?
He's a security guard at some kind of plant out in the valley. Aircraft, I think. Not sure about it.
All right, you want to go ahead?
We're all three talking when these two guys come in. First, I thought it was somebody for a belt.
Mm-hmm.
I know most of the people in the neighborhood. Never saw these two before.
Yes, sir.
Come in and order a drink. I gave it to them. And they paid.
Yeah.
Dirty trick.
Well, how do you mean that?
Gave me a 5. Drinks came to about 20. Big guy picked up his change, left 80 on the bar. Figured it was a tip. Picked it up. Going to drop it in the glass.
Yeah.
No sooner turn around, the little guy pulls a gun. Points it right at me.
Yeah.
Tells me it's a stick-up. Guy with him runs over to the door to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
Little man moves down the bar and tells George and Elaine to stay where they are. They won't get hurt. Then he turns around to me and says for me to empty the register. I did what he said.
Yes, sir. Now, the other man was by the door all this time, was he?
Yeah. Just standing there. I guess he wanted to check the other side of the place. 2 kids had left. Wasn't anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
All the time I was standing there hoping that nobody'd started anything.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah. What do you got?
Ambulance just left. Took all three of them in. Sorensen's with the suspect.
How they doing?
The other guy they found up front's not doing too good, hit in the stomach. Other fella shot up pretty bad, but none of the wounds looked serious. Girl was hit in the right leg. Not too bad.
Anything else?
Well, near as I can figure, the guy who was shot in the stomach is one of the hold-up men.
Checks out with what I got from the owner. You say anything?
The attendant said they'd call us from the hospital as soon as we could talk to him.
All right. We better get in touch with the officer down there and make sure there's somebody with him all the time.
Yeah, I got the two guns involved. 32 automatic, 38 police special.
All right.
Found the 32 in the suspect's hand.
Okay. You want to call the office, have somebody stay with the suspect? I better get back to the owner.
Right.
That other cop tell you anything?
No, sir, not much. Now, if you want to go ahead with your story.
I thought maybe you had some kind of clue or something to tell you who the other two were.
There were three of them?
Yeah. Two in here. The other one was out in the car and didn't come in at all.
Did you see the person driving the car?
Not good. I told the other cops about it. Could even tell if it was a man or not.
What do you mean?
Might have been a girl with one of those new short haircuts. I just got a glance when they drove off.
I see. You want to go on about what happened in the bar?
Well, after this one guy told me it was a holdup, I gave him the money. I didn't want any trouble. I put the currency on the bar, and the little fella stuffed it in his pockets. I thought they'd leave after that. Might have if I hadn't started to laugh.
How's that?
I started to laugh. I guess it was the tension and all, but when I opened the register, I looked right at the frame hanging over it. First dollar I took in.
Yeah.
This was my first holdup. I got to thinking about what I could hang up to show for it. Thought the only thing would be a frame full of nothing. It struck me real funny. Little fella got real sore, wanted to know what the big joke was.
Oh.
I couldn't tell him. More he asked, funnier the whole thing got. That's when he started to look around to see if there was some kind of private joke. George and Elaine must have thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Elaine tried to wave through me and tell me to be quiet. That's when the guy saw the watch she was wearing.
Well, what happened?
Told her to take it off. Got real nasty about it. Guess he was sore about me laughing. She did like he said. As soon as I saw that, I got mad. Real mad.
Yeah.
I thought about what I could do. I don't keep a gun in the place. All I could lay my hands on was a wet bar rag.
What was that?
A wet bar rag.
Oh, I see.
So I did what the guy told me. Put my hands on the bar right out in plain sight. The little fella started to back out of the bar, and that's when George went into action.
Well, how do you mean that?
He's a security guard. You know, I told you.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Well, he carries this gun. He pulled it out and reached around the lane, blasted at the hold-up man. Hit him right in the stomach. Guy kind of turned like he was going to run, then fell right on his face. Then the big guy, the one at the door, he aimed his gun and shot at George.
Was the girl still in front of him?
Not exactly. You see, when George shot at the one guy, he knocked Elaine down. Wasn't fast enough, though. First shot from the big one caught Elaine in the leg. Second one got George.
Well, what were you doing all this time?
I was still there with my hands on the bar. The whole thing happened so fast there wasn't anything I could do. Just stood there. Right after that, the big guy ran out of the place. I jumped over the bar and went after him. Guess I forgot there wasn't any way I could stop him. Didn't think of that. Good thing I didn't catch him.
Yeah. You followed the man out on the street, did you?
Yeah. Saw him jump into the car and take off. That's when I saw the other person. You know, the one who was driving.
Yes, sir. Did you get a good look at the car?
Saw it drive off.
I understand, but did you see the license plate?
Yeah. But not so I could tell you the number.
Was it a California plate?
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, now about the car itself. Can you tell me what kind it was?
Nash sedan. I think it might have been a 1953. Can't be sure about that, though. Might have been a new one.
What color, do you remember?
Near as I can remember, it was kind of light tan.
All right, sir. Can you give me a description of the big man, the one who stood at the door?
Well, I gave it to that other cop.
Well, yes, sir, but I'd like to go over it again with you, if it's all right.
Sure. As long as it'll help you get the fellas.
All right, how old was he?
Well, I'd say 20-something. Anywhere between 24 and 27.
How about his height?
Tall and over 6 feet. Didn't come real close except when he was sitting. I couldn't pin it down for you, but I'd say over 6 feet for sure.
All right, sir. About his weight?
180.
Dark or light?
Light. Had light hair and blue eyes. Hair was wavy. You could almost say the guy was too pretty, like some kind of advertisement, you know, for hair oil or something.
What was he wearing?
Had on dark pants and coat. Wore a dark shirt and a white tie. Remember that, because you don't see that combination much nowadays. Back in the 30s, it was all a go.
You sure about the shirt and tie?
Positive. Real contrast. Dark shirt and white tie.
All right. Was he clean shaven?
Yeah.
Talked to the business office, Joe. They're sending a team over to the hospital.
That's good.
Stopped and talked to the men in 6L86. They checked the neighborhood. Didn't come up with anything.
What about Elaine? Is she going to be all right?
Yes, sir. She's not hurt seriously.
Sure glad of that. Felt bad about not doing anything to help her, but I'm the kind of guy when I cut my finger, I can't even put a bandage on it myself. Always been like that.
Yeah. What kind of gun did the man at the door have, do you remember?
Looked like a .45 automatic.
I see.
Descriptions check out.
Yeah. Type of guns are the same, too.
You know these men?
Well, we've got an idea who they are, yes, sir. We've been after them for some time now.
Sure wish I could have given you more. This is all over in a few minutes.
Well, you've helped us quite a bit already, Mr. Moyle.
At the time, it seemed longer than a Monday when there's been too much Sunday.
Yeah.
These guys done this kind of thing before?
Well, we think so. They've been hitting theaters. This is the first time they've hit a cafe.
Hope it's going to be the last. The way they put the B on George and Elaine, like to see you get them.
Well, we're going to try.
If you do, could you do me a favor?
What's that?
Well, I kind of goofed it up when they were here before. I'd like another chance at the big guy when he hadn't got his gun.
Well, I'm afraid we can't do that, Moyle. It's police business.
Why not? He's bigger than me.
Yes, sir?
Be a fair fight, wouldn't it?
For the past 6 weeks, on Tuesday and Thursday nights, 3 people had been hitting theaters in the central Hollywood area. Descriptions obtained from the victims were the same in each case. Rolling stakeouts had been set up without result. Runs by the stats office had been checked out, and we were still no nearer to our suspects. In each case, the method of operation was the same. 2 men would enter a theater box office and rob the cashier of all currency, and then leave in a car driven by a third person. We'd been unable to establish whether the person in the car was male or female. None of the victims had been able to give us a good description. However, in all of the holdups, the car the suspects used was the same. The robbery of the cafe and the shooting of the 2 witnesses gave us our first concrete lead to the identity of the suspects. The description of the smaller man matched the one we'd gotten in the theater jobs. From what the bar owner told us, it was more than possible that he was one of the bandits that we'd been looking for. We recovered the ejected shell casings and the spent bullets. They were booked as evidence. At 1:56 a.m., Frank and I left Moyle's Bar and Grill and drove over to George Street Receiving Hospital. We talked to Dr. Hall. He told us that the 2 victims were receiving treatment and would recover. From personal effects, the suspect was identified as Carl Layden. We called the business office and made arrangements for his home to be checked. Dr. Hall told us that the man was in serious condition, but that we might be able to question him. We went into the treatment room. Layden was under heavy drugs.
Layden? Layden?
Yeah?
These men want to talk to you.
Well, tell them to go away. I don't want to talk to anybody. Tell them.
Layden, we want to ask you about tonight.
You a cop?
That's right.
Tell me something.
What's that?
How bad is it?
They're doing what they can. You lost a lot of blood.
Am I going to make it?
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who are the other 2, Layden?
I don't know.
They left you alone. You don't owe them anything. Now, who are they?
Come on, Layden. How about the one in the car? What's the name?
They walked out on me, didn't they?
That's right. Now, what are the names?
How about it, Layden?
Oh, Norberg. He's one of them.
Norberg?
Yeah, Sam Norberg.
Has he done any big time?
I don't think so.
Well, which one is he, Layden? The one in the bar?
The driver.
How about the blonde? What's his name? Layden?
Wait a minute, Joe. You're going to have to stop. No more questions. He's too weak.
All right. We'll be outside, Doctor.
I'll be right with you.
Right.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's a good lead.
Yeah. You got a name. Let's find who wears it, huh?
Better run it through, I guess. Try to come up with an address.
Hope he's not the kind of guy who changes it 3-4 times a year.
Well, if he is, we can help him.
Yeah.
We'll give him a new one. At 2:30 a.m., Frank and I went back to the office. We contacted the team who checked Carl Layden's apartment. They told us they'd found nothing to help us in apprehending the other 2 suspects. The stakeout was set up on the place. We ran the name Sam Norberg through R&I, but we failed to turn a record on anyone answering his description. Frank checked the phone book and the city directory. We came up with 2 possibles. We asked Sergeant Bud Young and Officer Serrani from the business office to help us. 2:47 a.m., we got to the first address, 713 Larchmont Boulevard. It was a small bungalow. A tan 1953 Nash was parked in the driveway. The doors were locked and the radiator was still warm. While Young and Sirianni covered the door.
The car makes it look good.
Yeah, you want to get the door?
Probably asleep.
Yeah. Somebody's coming now.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Sam Norberg?
What do you want?
We want to talk to you. Police officers.
You guys know what time it is?
All right, move over.
Get this over fast. I got to get some sleep. I can't stay up half the night answering questions.
All right, stand still.
He's clean. It must be really important to come around this late.
It is.
Anybody else in the house? No, I got enough trouble trying to feed myself.
Well, you won't mind if we look around?
Make a difference if I did?
No, not much.
I figured that. Go ahead.
Check out back. Tell 'em it's okay.
Yeah. Got the place surrounded? What do you expect to find, a purple gang?
I wonder if you're as good with the answers as you are at the question.
Look, you might think I'm a foul ball, but I don't know what you're after. I'll have to hand you this.
Yeah.
You guys must have me mixed up with somebody else.
You're Sam Norberg, aren't you?
Yeah?
Well, we didn't knock on the wrong door.
Okay, Joe. Place checked out clean.
You talk to Young and Sirianni?
Yeah, I'll wait for it. I told him this and look this.
I don't want to rush you, fellas, but you want to tell me what this all about?
That's your car out in the driveway?
Yeah, what?
You got the keys then, huh?
On the table there.
All right. You want to get dressed?
What for? I'm not going anyplace.
You keep believing that, but get your clothes on.
I got a coat in the closet.
Point it out. We'll get it.
There's only one there.
Right here. Now let's go. Here's the keys.
You see any more? I don't know what this is all about. When you find out you made a mistake, don't apologize. Just go away so I get me some sleep.
Yeah, sure. You can stand right there.
Badge makes you a big man, doesn't
You better keep your mouth closed. You're going to find you're in the wrong league here, mister.
I'll check the registration.
There's no reason to do that. I own the car.
How about it?
Got his name on it.
Well, who did you think you'd find? You come up with anything, I'll split with you.
Anything else?
Wait a minute. Take a look.
Norberg, you know a Carl Layden?
Never heard of him.
You sure about that?
I told you.
And this is your car.
Well, you know that.
Well, then maybe you can explain this.
What?
This driver's license.
What about it?
Belongs to Carl Layden.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We made a thorough search of Sam Norberg's house, but we failed to turn up anything more to tie him in with the robberies. He was taken downtown to the city hall for questioning. 4:30 a.m.
Where'd you first meet Layden?
I don't even know.
Well, then you can tell us how his driver's license turned up in your car, can't you?
No, I can't tell you.
You said it was your car.
Yeah?
It was locked when we found it.
That's pretty smart figuring.
Well, I hope you're going to do something now.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know how long you think you're going to be able to keep this up. We got you nailed and you know it. Now, why don't you tell us what we want to know and we can all go home and get some sleep.
I'd sure like to help you, but I don't even know what you're talking about.
Layden says he knows you.
When'd he say that?
Tonight. Said you drove the car for him and the other guy.
Where'd you see him?
Layden?
Yeah.
Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. He's unhappy with you boys. Figures you ran out on him. Willing to fill us in on the whole deal.
With him on our side and the witnesses to the robbery tonight, you're in real trouble, Norbert.
This on the level?
Right down the line.
I heard Layden didn't make it.
You heard wrong.
You want us to put in a call so you can talk to him?
Lousy deal. Clint told me he was dead.
Clint's the blonde fella, isn't he?
Yeah, Clint Purnell. Told me all about how Layden didn't make it to the door of the place. Said he went right out.
Well, that's not right.
I'll check on it.
Okay.
That lousy Clint.
You know where he is?
No, if I did, I'd give it to you.
When'd you see him last?
Tonight, I dropped him off downtown.
Where?
Fifth and Spring. Said he had a big day.
Uh-huh.
Should have known not to trust Clint. Yeah. You got a cigarette?
Here.
Thanks.
Help yourself. How long you known Purnell?
I don't know. A couple of months.
Where'd you meet him?
A bar out on First Street. Slade and me used to go there all the time.
Uh-huh.
Slade and me been good friends for a long time. We never been in trouble before we met Clint.
Purnell set up the deal?
Yeah. He started to talk to us about we could pick up some easy money. He laid out the whole idea. Slade and me told him we'd never been hung up in anything like it before.
Mm-hmm.
He said he knew enough for all of us. Clint's a pretty good talker. Guess it don't make a lot of difference, though. We could have said no.
Where's Purnell live?
He had a place out on Venice Boulevard.
You got an address?
No, but I can show you where it is.
How'd you do?
I don't think we got it. Take a look at these.
Hmm?
Mr. Clint Purnell you're talking about?
Yeah, that's him. He's older than that now.
Mm-hmm.
He's better looking in person than he is in that picture.
Well, he probably had an off day.
Well, his clothes make him look different, too. The dark shirts.
He always wear them, does he?
Yeah, I never saw him anything else. He asked me one day why I always wore a white shirt. Said it was square.
Mm-hmm.
Asked me how long I could wear a white shirt. I told him one day.
Yeah.
Says I'm crazy. Big deal about how he can wear a dark shirt 3 or 4 days and the dirt don't show on the collar. Thinks people don't know the difference. They can tell.
How many theater jobs did you go on?
5.
How come you switched to cafes?
That was Clint's idea.
Said you might have the show staked out. Mm-hmm. Everything we did, he planned it. We asked about something, he said not to worry about it. He had it all figured. Yeah. Oh, we said he was as smart as any cop. Kept telling us you made mistakes.
We do.
That's what he said.
He should have told you the rest of it.
What do you mean?
We can make him more than once. We took Sam Norberg down to the carpool and we drove him out on Dennis Boulevard. He pointed out the rooming house where Clint Purnell lived. While I waited with Norberg, Frank went up to check with the manager. In a couple of minutes, he came back.
Now, looks like we missed it.
What do you mean?
Manager says Purnell was here about 2:30.
Yeah.
Packed his bags and left.
Frank and I, along with the suspect, went up and looked over the room. Apparently, Purnell had left in a hurry. We talked to the manager, but he was unable to tell us where the suspect had gone. He did tell us that Purnell had driven up to the place in a car and, after packing his belongings, had left. The manager went on to say that he knew the suspect didn't own an automobile himself and that he'd gotten the license number of the car in the event that there might be any trouble. We called the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we found that the car was registered to a Mrs. Robert Sherburne, 297 Colorado Boulevard. Frank and I went back to the main jail and booked Sam Norberg in on suspicion of robbery. After that, we drove out to talk to the Sherburne woman. The address was a riding academy in Griffith Park. We left the car down the street and walked onto the grounds.
Wonder what the pitch is. Purnell driving a car registered to a Mrs. Sherburne.
I don't know.
Guess this is the office, huh?
That's what the sign says.
I'm so beat I'm having trouble seeing the building, let alone the sign.
I don't know.
It's kind of early. Maybe no one's up.
There's got to be somebody around. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Yes?
Miss Sherburne?
That's right.
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
What's wrong?
How do you do, ma'am? We'd like to ask you a couple of questions about
Robert,
your car.
isn't it? Something's happened to Robert.
No, ma'am.
You don't have to lie to me. I know that's it. Robert smashed up the car and he's been hurt.
No, ma'am, that's not it. You know a man named Clint Purnell?
Not about my husband?
No.
Oh, that's a relief. He left for Bakersfield this morning. I thought there'd been an accident. I was scared. Like when you're baking a cake and somebody slams the door, you have to check the oven, but you're afraid to look and you're afraid not to. You know how that is.
Yes, ma'am. Now, about Clint Purnell, do you know him?
Yes, I do. He's my stepbrother. Is that why you're here?
What's that?
Clint in trouble again?
We'd like to talk to him.
I guess I should have known it. Clint never comes around unless he's in trouble.
You seen him then?
Yes, he came by last night. Said he wanted to borrow the station wagon to pick up his stuff. He said he was going back east because he couldn't make a go of it here on the coast.
You know where he is now?
Yes. He's back in the tack room. Said he didn't have any place to sleep, and I let him use the cot in there.
All right.
What kind of trouble's he in this time?
Be better if we talk to him.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not going to stand behind him. He promised me. He promised Robert. If he's running again, he isn't going to get any help from us.
All right, where's this tack room?
Back there. It's the second door.
Thank you.
I hope there isn't going to be any trouble.
Well, if there is, you'll have to start it. Want to try the door?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
What are you doing?
Purnell, come on, get up.
What are you doing in here?
Hey.
Well, you got no right to come in here like this.
Get your hands around it.
I'll check.
All right.
Stand still. He's clean, John.
Want to check the bed?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of nerve busting in here like this. No reason for it.
Yeah, sure.
45 automatic under his pillow.
Big deal. So you found a gun. What's that prove? You carry him, too.
Yeah, but there's a big difference, mister.
Is that right?
Yeah, we get paid for it.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 20th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Samuel Garland Norberg, Carl Franklin Layton, and Clinton Ward Purnell were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts, and assault with intent to commit murder, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with intent to commit murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 14 years.
You have just heard Dragnet,
story of your police force in action and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Regan, Investigator.
Mr. Regan?
Huh?
You are Mr. Regan, the detective?
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Regan, I need your help. Could you help me?
I'm afraid I didn't get your name.
I am Romano. Elio Romano.
Oh, sit down, Mr. Romano.
Thank you.
Suppose you tell me about your problem. You're needing help, Mr. Romano.
Oh, yes, Mr. Regan, it's true. I do need help. My store, it's my store.
Store.
I have a smaller grocery store. It's on 6th Street. We have a big new neon sign. But someone is trying to destroy my store.
Oh, we're making headway. Tell me about the someone.
I don't know this is someone. If I should get my hands on them...
My windows?
No. They tried to burn it down. They tried to burn my store.
When?
Last week, Thursday.
Call the police?
Yes.
And then what?
Well, they said there was an accident. They said I did this to my own store. Ma questa è una cosa che... Mamma mia.
And you're sure it was no accident?
Mr. Regan, would I destroy the one thing Maria and I have given our lives to make? Would I so much as harm a single little glass window? No, I would not.
Where'd the fire start?
In the back room where the can got stored.
What time of day?
Night. It was at night. My Maria and I, we sleep above the store. My Maria smelled the smoke, and together we put out the fire before the damage could become great.
That's the only time it happened?
No. The day before that, I found a light match in the waste basket. It was just as I was closing for the night. Well, I stopped this one very quick.
2 nights in a row. You're right, Romano. It doesn't look very accidental.
Oh, believe me, Mr. Regan, I would never do this to my store. Never.
Okay, Romano. I believe you. Suppose you and I run out there. Take a look. The little man with the wrinkled brow got in the car beside me, and we drove out 6th Street, past Alvarado, past Union. We passed in front of a small grocery store with a big neon sign over the door. Sign said very proudly, Romano's. And my client, Romano, glanced at it, nodded approvingly, and we walked in.
Oh, Elio, you back to save me.
That foolish woman. Of course I'm back to save you.
This is Mr. Regan, the detective.
See. Mr. Regan, my wife, Maria. You're a very foolish woman.
Elio, try to mad.
How do you do, Miss Romano?
The pig of a husband. If you worry about him and his first source, he's call you foolish. If you do not worry about him, he's say you don't care.
Mr. Regan, please, come with me. Right away, I'll show you where the fire starts. Please, come with me.
Romano led me into a small back room behind the counter. There were shelves filled with canned goods and paper cartons. He showed me the waste paper basket near the door. Easy to flash a match in through the window above it that opened onto the alley. There were a few charred pieces of wood here and there, but very little damage had been done. Still, if everything Romano said was true, it didn't look like an accident. It was while I was pointing out the burnt wood that a customer came in the front door. I moved over toward the doorway and listened.
Well, we'll see about that when I tell my neighbors.
Then the things began to get interesting. I looked out. Plump, smug-looking woman carrying a heavy purse, her eyes glaring behind rimless glasses.
That's your idea, eh? Support as many people in here as you can? Well, there certainly must be some law against people like you. I just wanted to make sure, that's all. And I must say I got what I came for.
What was that all about, Mrs. Romano?
Oh, Mr. Regan, you heard.
Marie, what does she say to you?
Quiet, Romano.
Mr. Regan is right. The once was enough.
It didn't sound like nothing, Mrs. Romano. What do you mean by telling my neighbors?
No, we will not talk of it.
We will talk of it. Mr. Regan, this woman, this is Mrs. Wilson. She used to be our best customer. Then she turned on us. She tells all her friends not to come to our store.
Why?
Why? Because... Now, who knows why?
Oh, you have started it. Now you will appreciate it. She does not buy from us because we would not let her tell us how to run our store.
See, that's all there is to it? When did it start?
A week ago.
Oh? Same time the fire started.
See, the same... But, Mr. Regan, you don't...
You had to think, Romano. I'll see you later.
Mr. Regan, where you go?
To talk to Mrs. Wilson. If I moved fast, I could find Mrs. Wilson. If I could find her, I could talk to her. She had answers, plenty of them. Plenty more than the Romanos gave her credit for. And then I saw her, a block away, walking fast. I followed. Around the corner, she turned left to walk and disappeared into a two-story apartment house. I was right behind her. The mailbox out front said 208, and when I got there, the door was just closed. Knocked.
Yes?
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Young man, if you're selling
I'm not
something...
selling anything.
Then what do you want?
Just a couple of questions, Mrs. Wilson, about the Romanos.
Oh, so that's your game, is it? You're trying
I'm
to
not trying to
tell me...
tell you anything. We'd just better talk now, for your own good.
You go back and tell those people we don't want them around here. We don't want them in our neighborhood. Is that clear?
That's as good a place to start as any, and I will just...
Oh, no, you don't. You're not coming in without a warrant. I knew you were a policeman right away. They called you, those Romanos. Just like them to take advantage of our Constitution. But I know my rights as a citizen.
Lady,
I haven't broken any laws, you understand? It's them that cause all the trouble, them. And we don't want their kind around here. Now, good day.
So I had nothing after all. I got in my car, drove down toward police headquarters. And it wasn't that easy. Because behind me, starting at Alvarado, was a yellow Model A Ford. A yellow hot rod, and it wasn't behind me by accident. Stayed there, 2 blocks, 10 blocks, 20. And whoever sat behind the wheel didn't care if I knew it. We stayed that way until we reached the block without traffic, and then suddenly the yellow car gunned up in the rearview mirror. And I could see a young kid hunched angrily over the steering wheel, and there wasn't any doubt about what a kid like that had on his mind or what he was going to do. He moved the car up close, next to mine, and yelled something angry kids yell, and suddenly his yellow coupe shot out ahead, cut into me. Like I figured. Tried to run me off the street onto the sidewalk. Now the yellow coupe was just a blur in the distance. I pulled off from the curb, eased into gear, took my time driving to the police station. The police told me to check with the arson squad. The arson squad told me to check with the sergeant. And to make a rotten day just that much rottener, the sergeant turned out to be a guy I knew, named Bowles.
All right, what do you want, Regan?
Transferred from homicide, Bowles?
I don't need any of your lip today, Regan. I'm busy. What do you want?
You handle the Romano investigation?
Romano? Who's that?
It's the poor guy who happens to own a grocery store.
Romano. Yeah, I checked it out last week. For your information, this client of yours, Romano, has this grocery store well covered. You know what they call it, Regan? Fire insurance. Lots of fire insurance.
And that's what I got from Sergeant Bowles. I left the station, drove down to the top house on 3rd Street, had myself a big dinner, and tried to think. And it wasn't that easy. Ideas would fit together during the salad and go to pieces during the steak. By the time I got to dessert, it was anybody's guess. I paid the blonde waitress and drove out 6th Street, watching the streetlights go on and hoping one of them would shed some light on the problem. And when I got past Alvarado, I didn't have time to think. I stepped on the gas, drove faster. Into streets becoming crowded, alive. Into confusion and fire engines. Into shouts, smoke. A man in a fire helmet directed me over to the side of the road, and I parked and got out. Walked into the excitement and confusion and heat. And into a sweaty, serious, open-collared, open-mouthed, hot-eyed, staring mob. Into a shout all around me. Hey, Joe. Hey, Edna. Hey, Pete. Come take a look. Romano's. The grocery store. Burning down, yelling, cheering, shouting. While flames licked up the store walls and around the big new neon sign Romano had proudly shown me. And I was moving into the mob, trying to get closer, when a big burly man covered with soot and sweat shoved me aside.
Stand back, will you please, mister?
Have you seen the owner?
Too many people to see anything, mister. Out of my way.
The big fireman moved on, and I followed him, letting him clear a path through the spectators, and up ahead, I could see another big man. This one I knew.
Stand back there. Oh, Regan.
Sam, have you seen Romano, the owner?
What's he look like?
A little guy. Dark hair.
Stop and go, Regan. I haven't seen anybody. Better stand back. That wall's going.
Romano and his wife live in there.
Sorry, Regan. Too many people. My men can't get a grip.
Never mind.
Regan, come back there.
5 people ran shouts aloft in the crowd behind me as I moved and shoved and pushed my way around to the side of the burning grocery store. Somewhere in there was my client, Romano, and his wife, Maria. And then, stumbling out through the smoke, came a fireman. And he was dragging a man, a little man, coughing, spitting, squeezing. It was Romano.
It's the man you were looking for, mister. Maria, let me go, please. Let me go.
Romano, it's me, Regan.
Let me go in the name of God. Please let me go, Maria. I must get to my Maria.
You
take him, mister. I'll go back for her.
Right, I got him.
Regan. Regan. Please. They left to my Maria.
Take it easy, Romano. They'll get Maria.
They must have saved her. I'm going to get to Maria. I'm going to get...
I pulled the little man away from the smoke and heat and people, stretched him out on the pavement. In a few minutes, his breathing became regular and the coughing stopped, and he slept. And 10 minutes after that, the big fireman came out with Maria and placed her on the pavement beside her husband. And Maria wasn't coughing or breathing. She was dead. The ambulance took Maria and Romano away. The fire hissed steam where the fireman's hoses poured gallons of water. And soon even the crowd had lost interest. And only the hissing steam and smoke filled the cavity that had been Romano's grocery store. Fire Chief Rand came over to me.
Did you find him, Regan, that man you were looking for?
Yeah, Rand. I found him.
He okay?
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be all right. Not his wife.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Regan. We did the best we could.
I know. And what started it?
I was just checking. So far, nothing conclusive.
You think it was an accident?
No. Went too fast. This one was planned, Regan.
By a maniac.
I'm not too sure. The next usually stick around. Watch it. They get their kicks that way.
Check the crowd?
They always check the crowd. Nothing certain yet.
Okay, thanks.
Regan, when you see Romano, tell him we did our best.
I left Rand examining the charred scraps of what was left of Romano's grocery store. I walked down the street, thinking, putting the twos with other twos and trying to make fours. And then I saw something up ahead, and I forgot about the twos and fours. It was a yellow Model A Ford parked 3 blocks from the scene of the fire, sitting quiet, docile, far from the nearest streetlight. I got to it and started to look in. It was the car that had tried to run me off the street. It was...
Stay away from there, mister.
I turned. Saw a kid. Big kid who'd driven the car into me. In his right hand, a revolver.
Come on, get away from it.
You like guns.
Now get me some. Come on.
You also like matches.
Shut up.
You also like killing people.
Right.
He didn't when I said killing. I drove him off the sidewalk at his knees and we went down together, rolling on the pavement and digging for the gun. And it was anybody's weapon until I felt the cold steel of a second between us. Saw the barrel moving up under my chin. Heard the report. Kid was gone. And I was holding a sticky, damp spot above my left ear, and when I pulled my hand away, it too was sticky, damp. I got up, rocked unsteadily on my feet, stumbled down to my car. I reached for the ignition, pushed the starter, and decided to wait. Voices and faces, and voices and lights, and a big blank wall was there. I waited, not being sure, and then I opened my eyes, and the blank wall was the ceiling, and the face was Sergeant Bull. Who said it was just a scratch? Lay down. What's going on around here? Said lay down. You want to hurt something or something? Bullshit, you must stink. Where are we? Register receiving. Huh? Only why Rand had bought it. Rand dropped me here? You found in your car. You were out. Way out. Romano. Is he okay? Yeah, he's okay. His wife, Maria. Does Romano know? Yeah, he knows. Bull. Yeah? You still figure Romano burned his own store down? Shut up. Besides, suppose you answer a couple of questions. Okay. Just ask me. Bull asked me, I told him. And he folded his notebook and he walked out. I got up, checked my legs and the bandage over my left ear, danced down the hospital corridor, and walked out. 30 minutes later, the cab let me off where I'd last seen that yellow coupe, and I began to check garages. And the first one I checked was behind the apartment building where Mrs. Wilson lived. And I got nothing. 30 minutes after that, I'd covered her side of the block and was on the last apartment across the street. 4 garages, side by side. First Chevy, second Dodge, third Ford. Not a new one. It was a coupe like the yellow one I was looking for, only this was black. Shiny black. Shiny black. I was worth something. I moved into the dark garage and looked close at that Model A and reached out and touched the shininess and brought my finger back fast. Sticky. Wet. Nearly painted. What are you doing back here? Short, fat with a flashlight beam in my eyes. Come on, speak up. What's your business? Turn off your light. Not a chance, mister. I'm on you. I said turn it off. Hey. Whose car is this? None of your business. I said whose car? This is my property, mister. You... It ain't my place to give out information on my tenants. Oh, you want to live in the apartment? Well, Does he? Well, I rent that garage, mister. $5 a month. The guy who owns the car doesn't live here? It ain't no guy, mister. Woman pays the bill. A woman? A plump woman wears rimless glasses. Yeah. Her name's Wilson. Mrs. Wilson. Hey, that's... Thanks. Hey, you ain't got no right to ask me questions. I moved around the building, across the street, double time. Double time up the stairs. Up to the place I'd been earlier in the afternoon. It was late now, very late. But whether she liked it or not, Mrs. Wilson was getting our caller. I leaned on the buzzer, stayed on it. And midnight or not, Mrs. Wilson was going to answer if it took me home.
What's the meaning of this? The very idea... Oh, it's you. Well, see here.
I'm coming in, Mrs. Wilson.
I won't have with you. I'm calling the manager. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm coming in, Mrs. Wilson.
You policemen have no right to disturb peace-loving citizens.
I'm not the police, Mrs. Wilson.
You're not the police? Well, Investigator.
Not this time.
Out of my house, you will. Get out of
Shut up.
What do you want?
Your son. If he is your son.
You're crazy. My son is out of town.
Really?
He's been gone since yesterday. He's visiting his aunt.
That's right.
He left on the train for Santa Barbara. That's where my sister lives. Tommy left yesterday morning.
Tell me about Tommy.
He's a good boy. There's nothing he's done wrong. What right has he
What have you got coming up a murder?
Murder?
Sure, murder, Mrs. Wilson. When your kid set fire to Romano's store, somebody was killed. The law can call that manslaughter, Mrs. Wilson, but you and I know it's murder.
You're lying. You're making
Why, Mrs. Wilson? That's all I want to know. Why? Why did you knowingly let your kid set fire to that store? What kind of a distorted brain?
You shut up. What those people got, they deserve. We don't want their kind in this neighborhood. We've got our rights.
Who's we?
Citizens. Real American citizens.
Oh, Romano's not, is that it?
There's no place
I think I'll just look around, Mrs. Wilson.
Where are you going?
Look around. Something brought this business to a boil.
You get out of there!
Oh, I wasn't going in. But since you made a point of it... Kitchen.
You get out of here.
Now, why would you care if I looked in your kitchen, Mrs. Wilson? Interesting. There, Regan.
You've got no right to want to hear him.
Sugar, soap, lots of it. Let's see. Yeah. There are about 2 dozen cans of coffee, a couple of cases of soap, and there's the sugar there.
I paid for it. It's my right to buy what I want. Romano can't tell me what I'm supposed to.
Romano tried to tell you how much you could buy.
No, Bertie, Sophie Foreigner's going to tell me what I
That's right. You're an American. A real patriotic American.
Right.
The Constitution says you've got a right to buy as much as you want any time you want. You've got your rights. Yeah, remember, you're telling me that.
So I sent you to keep your nose
Your
out of
kind
my
belongs
business.
behind bars, Mrs. Wilson.
What?
Your kind can't eat off the same table with Romano. Your kind belongs out back in a pig pen, where you can wallow in your soap and coffee and sugar and grease. Get back with the pigs, Mrs. Wilson. Somebody left a loophole in the Constitution.
Stand right where you are, mister.
Well, that makes it complete.
Oh, Tommy. Oh, my Tommy.
I thought I stopped you once, mister.
Oh, he said such horrible things, Tommy. He said such terrible
I won't be
things.
saying much when I get through with him.
Let me get through with what? Haven't you killed enough for one night?
Killed?
Mrs. Romano's dead. Dead from the smokes and flames and hate your mother cooked up.
Oh, no. I wasn't going to kill
Sure,
him.
just a little fire. Burn him out of the neighborhood. Your mother's idea.
Yes, Tommy, don't burn him for me.
Sure, they always start that way. Just a little hate. But it builds, doesn't it, kid? Starts with a fist, ends up with guns, lots of them.
Tommy, I didn't...
Go on, shoot, kid. Make the neighborhood safe for Americans. Your mother's kind of American. Kind of breeds hate and greed and start doing it.
Tommy, you can stop.
Shoot, kid. That proves she's right, that you can kill because you're special like she is. Give me that gun. What? Gun? Gun. Thanks. There must be something in the Constitution that fits you, Mrs. Wilson. Undo what? Murder, arson, whatever you want to call the crimes of Mrs. Wilson. You might say she was fighting for a fifth freedom. The freedom of grab. And she won. The right to spend the next few years grabbing the bars of her own private cell.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. You get a call from a man who tells you his wife has failed to keep an appointment. There's no trace of her. There's evidence of foul play. Your job? Find her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, August 7th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from missing persons, and it was 1:27 a.m. when I got back to room 42, homicide squad room.
Hi, Joe. You talked to Graham?
Yeah, I just got in.
How'd they do?
Well, they came up with a kid.
Where'd they find him?
The boyfriends. They were watching TV. The missing youngster had told his friend his mother knew he was there.
Uh-huh. Everything's all right then, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Graham said the kid's going to have to eat standing up for a few days.
You know, it's a funny thing about parents.
What do you mean?
A thing like this happens and all they care about is getting their kids back.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, they begin to think about it and get sore. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
You figured you got a couple of kids.
Yeah, guess it'd be the same way.
I got it. Homicide Friday. Guess her, that's right. Well, where were you supposed to meet her? Well, have you checked there? Let's see. All right, you want to give me that address? Yes, sir. No, we'll be right out. Right. Goodbye, sir. I already got one we better check here.
Yeah?
Bartender out of Normandy. Says his wife was supposed to meet him a half hour ago, and she hasn't shown up.
He called his house?
Yeah, she's not there either. Says she's never been late before.
Yeah, it's always the first time.
Well, he doesn't think so.
Huh?
He thinks she's been kidnapped. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the bar. It was located on the corner of Normandy Avenue and Monroe Street. In the event the story we'd gotten on the phone was true and the woman had been kidnapped, we parked the car down the street and I walked back to the place. A couple of minutes later, Frank followed. We met the man who'd placed the call, George Cabot. We asked him to tell us what was wrong.
Sure didn't waste any time getting here.
You want to tell us what's happened?
Yeah, my wife's gone.
How do you mean?
Ethel's disappeared.
Well, when'd you see her last?
This morning when I left the house.
Have you talked to her since then?
Yeah, 12:55 tonight. She called here to tell me she was on the way down.
Mm-hmm. Did she seem all right then?
Yeah, as far as I could tell.
Possible that she might have stopped at one of the neighbors?
Well, I thought about that, too, but I checked. None of them have seen her.
You called your home, Andy.
Yeah, I didn't get any answer. I tell you, something's happened to Ethel. I'm about to blow my cork not knowing what it is.
Well, maybe she's still at the house and didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah, I figured that, too. Maybe that's her. Hello. Ethel, what? No, this is Cabot's Bar and Grill. Yes, ma'am. Who? No, I didn't see him tonight. No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'd know him. No, lady, I'm not lying for him. He isn't here. Yeah, if I see him, I will. Yeah, good night. Wasn't her.
Yeah.
Woman's in the same fix I'm in, only she can't find her husband.
Cabot?
Yes, sir.
I hope you won't be offended by this, but does your wife drink?
You mean you think she stopped at some bar and got gassed up and just didn't show up? Is that what you mean?
No, that's not exactly what I meant. I just asked if your wife drank.
Well, you got it all wrong. Ethel has a martini once in a while before dinner, but if she wanted to drink any more than that, she could come down here and I'd pour for her.
All right. It's a question we have to ask. You understand that?
Just as long as you don't think that Ethel's a lush, because she is.
You said you checked your house, huh?
Yeah, when she didn't show up, I waited a while, and then I got worried and called Mrs. Lawrence. She's the lady next door.
Mm-hmm.
Asked her if she'd seen Ethel.
Yeah.
She said my wife had been over there all evening. They were playing that baseball game, line drive, you know, with the cards.
I don't think I know it.
It's a new game. Anyway, they played that for a while, and then they watched the television, and at 12:30, Ethel said she had to come down and meet me. Mrs. Lawrence said she left the house then and drove away.
Mm-hmm.
This neighbor's kind of bubbleheaded, you know. She's not real bright about things, so I thought that maybe Ethel had gotten sick and couldn't answer the phone when I called.
Yeah.
I called a cab and went home. The car was gone, so was Ethel. I checked the whole house and the yard. Not a sign of her. Looked in the front closet, too. Her coat was gone. I'm sure she'd left the house.
Mm-hmm.
I had the cab driver come back to the bar the same way that Ethel always drives it. I thought maybe there was an accident or something. If there was, I'd be able to see it. You know, people or cops.
Yeah, I understand.
Wasn't anything.
Does she always come down here at night?
Regular as clockwork. Never misses. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Yeah. No, I remember. No, ma'am, I haven't seen. Look, lady, I got my own troubles. I'm not trying to cover up for your husband. Well, it doesn't make any difference to me or not what you think. He isn't here. Okay, that's fine with me. Never ran up more than a 30-cent tab anyway. And even then, he ate all the peanuts on the barn. You tell him I said so. Yeah, good night. Real crackpot.
You were saying that your wife made it a practice to come down here. Is that right?
That's right. You see, our boy was killed in the Pacific 5 years ago, our only kid. We both took it pretty hard. It got on Ethel's nerves sitting around the house by herself, so she'd drive down to pick me up. Get here a little early and help me with the cleanup.
Yes, sir.
Called at 12:55 to say she was leaving, walk in the door at 1:05. Didn't vary more than a minute either way.
Mm-hmm.
Depend on the light at the corner of Denmore and Santa Monica. If she makes it green, it's 1:04 when she walks in. Otherwise, she's a minute later.
Does she always call before she leaves the house?
I can walk over to the phone at 5:01 and pick it up. Know she's going to be on the other end.
Has your wife been in good mental spirits lately, do you know?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, has there been anything on her mind? Anything that worried her more than usual?
No, she didn't say anything. If there was, I'd have been able to tell.
Is there any special reason why you think she's been kidnapped?
Just that she's gone. It isn't like Ethel to do something like this. I know it's not her idea.
Never done anything like this before, then?
No.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a picture of her we could have?
Sure, I got one in my wallet. Probably that woman again. Oh, look, I haven't seen you. What? Now, look, don't you try that with me. No, I don't. If you hurt her, I'll make you sorry the rest of your life. Hello? Hello?
Cabot? Cabot,
What?
what's the matter?
Nothing. I guess I made a mistake about the whole thing.
How do you mean that?
I guess nothing's happened, Dad. We'll just forget I called you about it.
Is that the way you want it?
Yeah, I'm sorry to cause you all the trouble. I'd like to buy you a drink if I can.
No, thanks.
Sorry about the whole thing.
You want to tell us what they said?
Who?
Party on the phone there.
I don't want to talk about anything.
You're not going to help your wife that way. Now, what did they ask for?
Look, I told you guys it was all a mistake. Now, why not let it go at that?
How about the picture you were going to give us?
There's no reason for it. The whole thing's a goof-up.
The way you talked on the phone didn't make it sound that way.
All right, she's gone. Those are the people who have her.
They asked for money?
No. They said for me to sit tight and not to tell anybody or they'd kill Ethel. I'm going to do like they say.
You're taking a big responsibility on yourself, Cabot.
Maybe so, but she's my wife.
This is a big city. It's going to be a little tough for us to find the kidnappers without your help.
Not so bad.
How do you mean that?
I got an idea who they are. It isn't going to be too hard to find out.
You go out on a limb and you may give your wife more trouble than help.
Ethel's my wife.
You're not going to let us help you then, huh?
No, and I don't want to go over it anymore. I got the only stake in this anyway.
Well, you're wrong about that.
What?
What about your wife? Because of his attitude, it was useless to question George Cabot any further. We left the bar and got in touch with the office. We made arrangements for a complete 24-hour surveillance to be kept on him. In most cases of this type, the kidnappers usually demand that the victim's friends or relatives stay away from law enforcement agencies. They do this to stall for time. Statistics prove that in the vast majority of cases, the victim's fate was decided long before the kidnapping occurred. It never is the intent of any officer to endanger the life of a kidnapped victim, but at the same time, it is necessary for them to have all available information so that they can move rapidly when the case does break. In an effort to gain more information on the missing woman, Frank and I went over to see the victim's next-door neighbor. She identified herself as Carol Lawrence and asked us into the house.
I'm not sure this is quite proper, you know.
What's that, Miss Lawrence?
A couple of men in my house at this hour, especially with me in my bathrobe.
Oh, I'm sure the neighbors will understand.
Oh, I hope so. A couple of real gabby ones from the street, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Big mouths.
Yes, ma'am.
Guess you being policeman, it's all right, you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. What do you want to know?
When did you see Miss Cabot last?
You mean Ethel?
That's right.
I saw her tonight. Why?
What time did you leave?
Well, I guess it was about 12:30.
Say where she was going?
Didn't have to.
What do you mean?
Ethel only goes one place that time of night.
Yeah.
Down to pick up George.
We understand she usually calls him before she leaves.
That's right. I left here at 12:30, went next door to get a coat. A couple of minutes later, I heard her drive off.
What can you tell us about her?
Nice woman. Real nice.
Yes, ma'am.
We're great chums, you know. Belong to the same club and see a lot of each other.
Mm-hmm.
You see, my husband's gone, and Ethel's man works every night, so she's alone a lot of the time, too.
I understand.
Ever since their boy was killed, she's been kind of empty.
How was that?
Their boy was killed.
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
been kind of empty ever since.
I see.
Then, too, George don't help much.
Well, what do you mean, Miss Lawrence?
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, it's all right, ma'am.
Oh, I sure don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Well, you won't.
You won't nose it around that I told you anything.
No, ma'am.
How about you?
No, ma'am.
One thing I can't go is a person who carries tails. Just can't go. And don't want anybody to say that about me.
Well, yes, ma'am. What is it you're going to say?
I guess it'll be all right. You're so honest looking.
Thank you.
He is, too.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to tell us, Miss Lawrence?
Well, you know, poor Ethel isn't very happy.
Is that so?
Oh, my. Yeah, I feel so sorry for her sometimes.
Well, what about?
Well, it's that husband of hers.
Mr. Cabot?
Yeah. Oh, he's a good provider and all, but I always say there's more to life than just that.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice home, good car, paid bills and all, but George isn't the fella he makes out, you know.
That so?
Why do you think Ethel goes down to that bar to pick him up every night?
Well, we don't know. Why don't you tell us?
You're a man. You should be able to figure it out. She doesn't trust him. That's why.
Uh-huh.
All those girls hanging around the bar. Ethel notices things like that. George has got pretty big eyes, too. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to add it all up.
Well, has Miss Cabot ever talked to you about all this?
A couple of times. She'd come over, crying because of something George had said or done. She'd tell me.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. No matter what it looked like, they weren't very happy.
Did they have a quarrel that you know of?
A lot of times. George used to yell at her, scream about her leaving him alone. Could hear it over here. Summertime, you know. The windows are open. Sound carries right over. Couldn't really not hear it. And mind, I didn't try.
Yes, we understand. Any of these quarrels ever get violent, do you know?
You mean, did George ever hit her?
That's right.
Oh, you bet he did. Gave her a black eye once. Took a couple of weeks for it to go away. Poor Ethel. She tried to hide it with makeup. She could still tell.
I see. When she left, did she say that she was going down to pick up her husband?
Yeah. Told me she had to go get George. Made her a little mad tonight.
Why is that?
Missed the last part of the movie on TV.
I see.
Ethel had to leave before we found out who the swindler was.
Uh-huh. Can you tell us what kind of a car the Cabot's drive?
Pontiac.
Coupe or sedan?
Sedan, light blue.
What year?
This one. Brand new.
Do you happen to know the license number?
No. Couldn't give that to you. Didn't pay a lot of attention.
Do you know if they do business with one service station?
No, I can't tell you that.
Can you give us a description of Mrs. Cabot?
Sure. I'll give you a picture if you want one.
We appreciate it.
It's no trouble at all.
Right.
I got a scrapbook here. Shots of Ethel. Ah, here's that pencil sharpener I was looking for. Here now. Now, I know it's here.
Is that it there, the book?
No. That's my high school annual. Now, wait just a minute. Well, it is here. I know it is here. Oh, here it is. I took all these myself.
Yes, ma'am. They're very nice.
Oh, that's my husband. I took that at Coronado Island one spring. Yeah. Oh, here's one you can take. This one here in the chef's hat, that's Ethel. We were having a barbecue, and she was the cook. It's a little fuzzy, but it gives you an idea what she looks like, you see. Well, her hair's cut short now. Had it cut last month. Kind of bob-like. Well, you can take it.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You know, I just thought of it. You haven't told me what this is all about. Something happened to Ethel and George?
Well, we're not sure yet. We're just checking out a complaint.
Oh, well, as long as you're all right.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I think that about covers it. Sure like to thank you for your cooperation.
No, I'm happy to help.
Good night, Miss Morris.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
There's one more thing. Will you be home tomorrow if we have to get in touch with you?
All day. If I don't answer right away, let the phone ring for a while. I got some work to do in the garden.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope I helped you out. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. What do you think?
I don't know. The way she tells it, something's out of line, isn't it?
Well, Cabot seemed to be pretty upset when he got that phone call.
There's only one big trouble with that.
What do you mean?
Maybe that's what he wanted us to think. 2:45 a.m. Frank and I got back to the office. We ran the names George and Ethel Cabot through R&I, but we found no record on them. We sent a teletype to DMV up in Sacramento asking for all available information on a car registered to George Cabot or his wife or both. Frank went over to the business office to see if the men in the units that were keeping Cabot under surveillance had reported in. There were no messages. We made a 15.7 report directing it to Captain Lorman, telling him of what had happened and what action we'd taken. At 3:52 a.m., we were ready to leave the office.
You all set?
Yeah. Well, let's go.
All right.
I get it.
Make it fast, huh?
Homicide, Friday. Where? Yeah. Okay, we'll be right over.
What do you got?
Ethel Cabot.
Yeah?
We just found her.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Frank and I left the office and immediately drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. When we got there, we talked to Dr. Sebastian, and he gave us the whole story. The woman had been found lying by the roadside. She was picked up by a motorist. He'd taken her directly to the hospital. Sebastian went on to tell us that from her appearance, Ethel Cabot had been severely beaten and then rolled or dragged in hot tar. Her clothes were covered with it. Her hair was matted. The doctor said that the woman's head had been shaved and that most of the tar had been removed. A tentative identification had been made through a letter found on her person when she'd been brought in. An attempt was made to call her husband, but there was no answer at either the bar or at their home. Frank and I waited until the woman had been treated. Then we went in to talk to her. She was in a state of severe shock, and she was incoherent.
Don't hit me anymore. Please don't hit me anymore.
It's out of her hand.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Don't hit me.
Miss Cabot. Miss Cabot.
Please let me go. Please.
You're all right now. There's nothing to be afraid of here.
You're lying.
You're in a hospital, Miss Cabot. You're all right.
Don't let him get me anymore. Don't let him touch me.
Nobody's going to hurt you, Miss Cabot.
Where's George?
We're trying to reach him, ma'am.
I don't want to see him. Whatever. All his fault.
George caused this?
They told me.
Well, who said that?
Both of them. They said they were doing it for George.
There were two people?
Yes. They kept hitting me. They poured the tar over me. Wasn't anything I could do. Nothing.
Did you know these men?
They kept hitting me. George, tell him to stop. Not anymore, please. Not anymore.
Miss Cabot, do you know who the two men were?
No, I don't know him. They didn't have any reason to do it. Except for George. That's what they told me. I didn't know they were going to hit me like that.
Did you hear a name?
No, I don't know him.
Did either one of them call a name of any kind?
Please make him stop. Don't let him pour any more tar on me.
Miss Cabot.
Burns. I can't stand anymore.
Miss Cabot, can you tell us what the men looked like?
George, tell him to stop. Tell him.
Miss Cabot.
No, we're not going to get much more out of her, Joe.
No. Better get a policewoman up here to stand by.
Yeah.
George, make him stop.
Joe?
Yeah, Dave.
While you were talking, the Cabot woman call came in for you to get in touch with the business office.
Okay, Dave, right away.
They probably got a line on Cabot, huh?
Hello, this Friday. When? Okay, we're leaving right now. Right, bye. Well, that really tears it.
What's that?
They just lost the tail on Cabot. Frank and I went back to the office. We got in touch with the unit who'd been assigned to keep Cabot under surveillance. They told us that the man had gone downtown and had entered an all-night movie. In the darkness, he managed to get away. A team of men was sent out to his house, but he hadn't returned. A stakeout was set up on it. A check of his bar failed to yield any additional information as to his whereabouts. A local broadcast was sent out to all units asking that they be on the lookout for the man. If he was found, he was to be taken into custody, and we were to be notified immediately. 6:45 a.m. Frank and I checked out of the office, and we went home to shave and change our clothes. At 8:15 a.m., we got back to homicide. There was somebody waiting to see us.
You want to see us?
Are you Friday and Smith?
That's right.
I'm Arnold Leffer. I got something to tell you.
All right.
You heard from Cabot?
No.
Oh, I figured maybe he'd call you.
You know him?
Yeah, I work for him. Help out in his place.
You heard from him?
Yeah, this morning. He called me at home.
Did he say where he was?
No, but I think he'd been drinking. He sounded like it.
Yeah.
It was either that or he was mad, one or the other.
Is that right?
Yeah, last time I heard him talk like he did this morning was when he had that beef in the bar about a week ago.
What was that all about?
Oh, a couple of guys thought they were pretty rough, tried to prove it to George.
Yeah.
Well, he cleaned up the place with him.
What caused that beef?
Well, they started to get loud with a couple of girls in the place. George told them to quiet down. They didn't do it, so he told them to get out.
Yeah.
They didn't want to go, and they tried to put the muscle on George, but they tried it with the wrong guy. George really showed them.
That's all?
Oh, yeah. Bounced them both right out in the street. Guys were pretty sore about it.
When did this happen?
About a week ago. I don't remember the exact date.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty sore. Told George they'd find some way to get even with him.
I get it. Homicide, Friday. He's not here right now. Can I take a message? Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. No, he's not working today. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you give me your number, I'll have him call when he gets in. All right. That's 98? Yes, ma'am. No, it's right in the message book. No, he'll see it. That's right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. No, he'll look at the book when he comes in. No, the first thing. You bet. Well, you're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Bye. You know these two men?
Yeah, I've seen them a couple times around the bar.
You know their names?
Well, one of them's called Jack something or other. I don't know the last part.
How about the other one?
I can't do you any good there.
You know where we can find him?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I come in here. I want to tell you what George said to me.
Yeah.
Well, he said he found out who kidnapped Ethel. Told me he was going to get him. He mentioned this Jack. Figured it was the same guy.
Where can we find him?
Well, there's a rooming house over on 7th. I can show you.
Well, let's go.
Look, there's something else, though.
What's that?
Well, I was at the bar when George called, and after I talked to him, I checked around.
Yeah.
His gun's gone.
Frank and I left the office and drove over to 7th Street. The bar boy pointed out the rooming house where he said we could find Jack and his friend. We checked with the manager and found that 2 men answering the description we'd gotten shared a room on the 3rd floor. We left Arnold Lepper in the car and we went up to the room.
Should be the last one.
Yeah.
Wonder if Cabot's gotten here yet.
He has. Come on. Stick it in. All right. All right, Cabot, let him go.
Let him go. Get him away.
All right, come on. Please don't stop me.
He's crazy. This guy's crazy.
Come on, Cabot. Take it easy now. Come on. Come on over here. Get over there.
Oh, you should keep him away from me.
Go on, move.
No.
What do you think you're going to prove doing a thing like this, Cabot?
A couple of minutes more, I wouldn't have cared.
We found your wife. She's going to be all right.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't help yourself much doing a thing like this.
He's crazy.
You shut up. All right, now, come on. Calm down, both of you, and stand still.
All right.
How about this one?
Name's Rico Martin. Him and Jack took my wife.
They admit it?
Yeah, they said they did it to get even with me for the fight.
Well, we didn't hurt her. We just scared her a little bit, that's all.
They're right.
Well, what difference does it make? We're going to beat it anyway.
You are, huh?
Sure. All we've got to do is come up with the right plea.
And you got it all figured, haven't you?
Sure, there's a lot of ways we can go.
Yeah, we got one in mind.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 14th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and Fulton County of Los Angeles. Jack Prescott Bischoff and Rico Blake Martin were tried and convicted of kidnapping 1 count. They both received sentence as prescribed by law. Kidnapping was bodily injury as punishable by life imprisonment without possibility of parole or by death in the lethal gas chamber.
Just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the missing persons detail. You get a call that a man has failed to return to his home. There's reason to suspect foul play. Your job, investigate.
It was Friday, January 2nd. It was overcast in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Homicide Division, missing persons detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Warman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications, and it was 8:12 a.m. when I got to room 24, squad room.
Well, it's hard to believe, isn't it? January 2nd. Another year gone by.
Yeah.
You see this evening's sports page?
No, I didn't. Why?
Still talking about that Rose Bowl game.
Oh, that's so?
You know, Joe, looks to me like that last play of the game's going to end up like the Dempsey-Tunney thing.
The what?
The Dempsey-Tunney fight.
Oh, no, I don't think it will.
Oh, yeah. Big controversy over that last play.
Well, since when? All the sports writers agree.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Joe.
How do you figure that? I read them all. Examiner, Times, Herald, News, The Mirror. They all agree the officials called it right.
Uh-huh. All the sports writers, huh?
Every one of them.
Apparently you haven't seen this.
I've never seen that paper before in my life.
No, that's where you're wrong, Joe. All the writers don't agree on that last play, see? Finchley Crockett, right there, you can see for yourself.
Who?
Finchley Crockett.
Who's he?
Only the sports editor, that's all.
The editor of what? What paper is this?
Jesse County Realist. Picked it up tonight on my way in.
Yeah, well, the game's over, so let's just forget about it. What do you say?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Just overlook the only right call on the game, huh? Just pass it right by. Joe, Finchley Crockett's never been wrong. Called the World Series, the All-Star game, picked the heavyweight champ before the fight. He's accurate, Joe.
Well, good for him. But it's over, and the score still stands. Next year's another game, okay?
Listen to this. I'm going to read this column to you. The Bird Says by Finchley Crockett.
What's the name of the column?
The Bird. Bird Crockett.
Who?
When? Oh, I forgot to tell you. When Crockett played for the Trojans, his nickname was the Bird.
I don't remember anybody by that name playing for USC.
No, Joe. JCU. Jesse County Trojans.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now listen to what he says. It is a rare treat when the editor of a small-town paper gets to see one of the nation's bowl games. But your editor was so treated this week at the county seat. As you all know, the new television transmitter is now operating, and it is a rare treat. As you know, there's nothing like being at the game, but it is a rare treat when the editor of a small-town paper gets to see one of the nation's bowl games. He's a real great guy, Joe.
Yeah.
And in closing, yours truly would like to go on record and say that the last play of the game was a complete mystery to me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. That's it, Joe. He made his point.
That's all there is to the entire column?
Well, that's it. It proves that all the sports writers didn't agree on the last play of the game.
I get it. Missing persons, Friday. Yes, ma'am. That's right. All right, we'll be right out. No, ma'am. Right away. Bye.
What do you got?
Missing husband.
Yeah.
Wife says he and another man went out this afternoon. He's over 3 hours late getting home.
Kind of early to start worrying, huh?
No, not the way she puts it.
What do you mean?
Well, the fellow with him.
Yeah.
Her husband was going to have him put in jail. "8:32 p.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the address. It was located on Agatha Street. The lettering on the window read, Helmer's Mannikin Rental and Sales. The store was dark except for a single light at the rear of the place. We knocked, and a small woman in her 50s answered the door. We identified ourselves, and she asked us in.
You want to come back to the office?
Thank you.
Watch your steps there. It's kind of dark.
Thank you. These dummies sure look like real people.
Yes, we specialize in lifelike models.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on the book, trying to keep my mind off of what's happened.
Uh-huh.
You want to sit down?
That's all right, Miss Helmer. You go ahead. You want to tell us what this is all about now?
Jason's gone.
That's your husband's name, Jason Helmer?
That's right.
How old is he?
He's 53. He had a birthday last October.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think something's happened to him?
Because it's not like him to do a thing like this without telling me.
And you told me on the phone that you'd heard from him. Is that right?
Well, not from him. Fred Madison called me.
And when was that?
I guess it was about 5:45. It might have been 6, no later.
Well, what did this fellow Madison say to you?
Told me that Jason was coming right home.
Were they together when he called, you know?
Fred said they were.
Did you talk to your husband?
No. At the time, I didn't think it'd be necessary.
Mm-hmm. You know where they called from?
Well, Fred said some bar.
Did he mention a name?
No, and I didn't ask. I guess I was afraid to.
What do you mean?
Well, Jason used to drink quite a bit. We had a lot of trouble over it. Seemed like everything was falling apart, and then he straightened up and quit.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a drink of liquor in 10 years. When Fred called, I thought that maybe he'd gotten Jason started again.
Did he say your husband had been drinking?
No, he just told me that Jason was leaving the bar and would be right home.
Was he driving?
Well, I don't know.
Ma'am?
My husband hurt his shoulder a couple of days ago. He wrenched it. I don't think he's able to drive very well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he might try to make it with one hand. Our car has that automatic drive thing, you know. You don't have to shift gears.
Yes, ma'am.
But I don't think he'd have driven.
Did he leave in your car?
Yes. Fred told him he'd drive.
Where'd they go?
Well, like I told you on the phone, to the races.
Mm-hmm. Your husband usually go there?
No. The only reason he went today was to collect some money.
From who?
Fred.
He's the man your husband was going to put in jail, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Why?
Well, he's owed us some money for quite a while. About 4 months ago, Jason asked him for it. Fred wrote a check.
I see.
And it wasn't any good.
Well, if you want to go ahead.
Well, Jason tried to get in touch with Fred and wanted to give him the chance to make good on the check.
Mm-hmm.
Was never able to catch him at home. Talked to him on the phone, but Fred was never there when my husband went over to see him.
Yeah.
Jason told him to have the money this morning or the bad check would be turned over to the police.
Wow.
Fred showed up here this morning. We thought he'd come to pay the money, but he told us he didn't have it. And Jason said there wasn't any reason to spend more time on it, said they might as well go to the police.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Fred told us that he could get the money out at the racetrack. He wanted Jason to drive him out there.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. But first Jason didn't want to, you know, with his sore shoulder.
Yes, ma'am.
And he told Fred to take a bus. Fred said he didn't have any money and begged my husband to drive him. Told him how he'd pay the money he owed and have enough to get home.
Yeah.
Well, they left here about 11.
Did this Fred Madison say who he was going to get the money from?
No. Just that it was some friend.
Can you give us a description of your husband's car?
Yes. I've got the license number, too, if you want it.
How about a description of both men?
Well, I can give you that.
All right, Miss Allen.
Sergeant?
Yes, ma'am.
You've been through this kind of thing before. You ought to know.
What's that?
About Jason. Do you think he's all right?
Well, I wouldn't know, Miss Helmer. We'll try to find out.
We've been so close the last 10 years, ever since he stopped drinking. I guess that's what I'm afraid of more than anything else. Him starting up again.
Yes, ma'am, I can understand.
Do you think he might have started up again?
Well, I wouldn't know that either, but I'd say things might be in your favor.
Well, how's that?
Well, 10 years is a long time.
Yeah?
Good habits are hard to break, too. Before we left the store, we got a complete description of Jason Helmer and Fred Madison. We also got Madison's address and the license number of the car they were driving. Mrs. Helmer gave us a recent photograph of her husband, and we checked with R&I on both men. We found a record on each one of them. Helmer had been booked 12 times for drunk. The last one was over 10 years ago. Madison had been picked up for drunk, suspicion of burglary, and writing checks without sufficient funds. We checked the jails and the hospitals, and we found that neither man had been booked in the last 5 hours. We went back to the office and got a local and an APB on both men and the car. 9:46 p.m. We drove out to talk to Fred Madison. There was no one at home, but we got the information that his wife was employed at a restaurant on Clay Street. We went over to see her.
Can I help you?
Yeah. I'd like to see Mrs. Madison, please.
Who are you?
Police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday. Here's our identification.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm Lorna Madison. What do you want?
A few questions we'd like to ask.
You mind going in the back to talk? I don't want everybody in the place to know my business.
All right.
Booth back here. Been hard enough to keep the job. Go ahead. Sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get you some coffee?
No, thank you.
Oh, ma'am.
I don't have to ask you what this is all about. I guess.
Beg pardon?
Something about Fred?
Yes, ma'am.
What'd he do?
Well, we're not sure that he's done anything yet, Miss Madison.
And why are you here?
We're trying to find him.
He is in trouble.
We just want to talk to him.
Could you tell us where he might be?
He should be home. You tied there?
Yes, we have.
Well, I don't know then. He left this morning and said he'd be home early.
Have you heard from him?
No.
Did he say where he was going when he left?
The racetrack.
Was he going with anybody, would you know?
He didn't say.
What kind of work does your husband do, Miss Madison?
He's a collector.
What's that?
He collects corks and bottles.
Ma'am?
I'm trying to tell you he doesn't work. He just drinks.
Mm-hmm. Then how could he afford to go to the races?
He can't. The only money he's got's what he can borrow from other people to steal from my purse.
Mm-hmm. Did he say why he was going to the races?
No, I don't care what he does anymore. I tried to help him, but he doesn't make any effort to change. Just goes on drinking and feeling sorry for himself.
Any idea where he'd go if he was drinking?
Any place where he can mooch a drink. He's even tried it here.
Can you give us the name of any of the places?
Yeah, I can tell you, but will you tell me what he's done?
Well, it's just like we said, Miss Madison. We're not sure that he's done anything yet.
That's the truth?
Yes, ma'am. We'd just like to talk to him.
All right. I think I can help you find him. I got a phone call earlier this evening.
From your husband?
No, from a friend of ours in the valley, David Neeson. Fred had called him.
Mm-hmm.
Fred wanted to use his place tonight. Davis said he could. I asked him if Fred had been drinking. He said he couldn't tell, but I know he has. Follows a pattern.
How's that, Miss Madison?
He's done it before. Go out to David's place, drink himself into a stupor. David always calls me, so I won't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Could I ask something of your offices?
All right.
If you find him there, will you do what you can for him?
What do you think it's going to do any good?
What do you mean, Mr. Friday?
I don't think he'd take our help, would he?
Why?
He didn't want yours. Miss Madison gave us the address of the place where her husband was supposed to be. We also got the address and phone number of David Neeson. We put in a call to him, but he hadn't heard from Madison. Frank and I left the restaurant and drove out to the San Fernando Valley. On the way out, it started to rain. 3113 Nordhoff Street was a small redwood house. We parked the car and walked up onto the porch. Frank tried the door. Better try it again.
Yeah. Yeah, who's there?
Madison, open the door.
Go away, I didn't order anything.
Come on, Madison, open up.
Doesn't sound like he's doing too good.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Let's talk inside.
Well, sure. Wouldn't keep anybody out in a night like this. Come on in.
Police officers.
Yeah. Well, let's go over by the fire, huh? It's cold out here in the middle of the room.
You Fred Madison?
Well, that's what you called me when you pounded on the door.
That's right.
You friends of Dave's?
We've talked to him.
He's a nice fellow, old Dave. This is his house, you know.
Yeah, we know.
Nice place. Roof's tight, good bar. He's a great friend, old Dave.
Mm-hmm. Come on, get up.
Yeah. How you fellas like to drink? You know, something keep the chill out?
No, we don't want one. We think you've had enough, too.
Well, how about you, mister?
No.
Okay. But don't say I didn't try
Put
to...
the glass down, Madison. You're going to have enough trouble answering our questions as it is.
Well, that's just where you're wrong.
Is that right?
Yeah. One thing everybody says about old Fred, he can handle his booze. You've never seen old Fred swinging.
Put that glass down.
Okay. I'd like to cooperate. Mind if I sit down?
Here, I'll help you. Sit right here.
All right. Old Dave ought to get some cushions for these benches.
Yeah, you want to start talking now?
Whenever you're ready.
What'd you do today?
All day?
That's right.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Where'd you go?
Took a little ride out to the track.
Races?
Yeah, took a little ride.
Did you go by yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I said, did you go to the races by yourself?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't.
Who'd you go with?
Friend of mine.
What's his name?
Well, you don't know him.
Give us his name.
Jason Homer.
Tell us what happened.
Well, nothing. We drove out there and saw the horses.
Did you make any bets?
No.
Then why'd you go?
I like horses.
You know that's not the reason. Now, come on.
Okay, I went out to collect some money.
From who?
Why are you asking all these questions?
Did you get the money?
Yeah.
What'd you do with it?
I don't think that's any of your business.
You do anything wrong with it?
No.
Well, then you don't mind telling us, do you?
Pay the bill.
To who?
Jason.
How much you owe him?
$100. Listen, I don't like all these questions. The way you guys came in here, I don't like it at all. I don't think I'm going to answer anything more for you.
I think you are. Now, where'd you go after you left the track? Come on, Madison.
Told you, drove out to the valley.
Halmer go with you?
Yes, he did.
Who drove?
Me. Jason has a sore shoulder.
All right.
We stopped at a bar, had a couple of drinks. Halmer was feeling pretty good that he got paid.
How about Halmer? Did he have anything to drink?
Who?
Halmer.
Yeah, a couple.
What was the name of the bar?
What?
The bar. What's the name of it?
Well, I don't know.
You stopped at a place and you don't know the name of it?
That's the way it is. It doesn't matter what name's on the outside anyway, just what's on the bottles. That's what's important.
All right. What happened then?
Jason said he had to go home. He wanted me to call his wife and tell her he was on the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
What time was that?
Oh, I guess about 5:30, someplace in there.
Yeah.
Well, we sat around and had a couple more, and then he left.
You stayed on after Halmer left.
Yeah.
Who paid for the drinks?
Well, who do you think? Me.
How much money did you collect out of the track?
$100. Collected it and then paid Jason.
All right, let's see your wallet.
Why?
Come on, get it up. How much money have you got?
I don't know, not much.
Well, take a guess, will you?
$20, $30.
All right, open your wallet and count it.
Well, it might be better if you did.
I said you count it.
Okay, but don't get mad at me if I do it wrong.
We'll try not to.
All right. Let's see, there's 10, 20, 25, 26, 27. $27. That and the change I still got in my pocket. You want me to count that, too?
Never mind.
I'll be glad to do it for you.
Let me see your wallet.
Well, certainly. Here you are.
You keep the money. Now give me the wallet.
That wallet's a present from my wife.
Oh.
Real nice. That cordovan leather.
Yeah.
Not a stitch in it, all folded.
Okay, here. Put it back in your pocket.
Yeah, thank you.
Where'd you get the money, Madison?
From in my wallet.
Before that.
I had it.
Since when?
This morning.
I won't hold.
Why?
We got it that you were broke this morning.
Oh, I got it now. Now I have got it.
You have, huh?
You think I'm a thief, isn't that it?
We'll let you tell us.
No deal.
Huh?
I didn't steal it.
All right, then where'd you get it?
From my bank.
When'd you get it?
Tonight.
Well, you're going to have to do a little better than that, Madison.
Well, I don't know why. Be perfectly happy to prove it to you.
When you're ready, huh?
All right, I'll show you. Take you right out there. You think all the banks close at the same time, don't you?
Go ahead.
Well, you're wrong. Mine's always open. Of course, it don't pay any interest, but it's there and it's always open.
All right, let's go.
Sure. Take you right out there. It's out in Canoga Park.
You got a coat?
No, sir. Hey, how about a little drink before we go, huh? Kind of warm.
Put that down. I told you once. You've had enough of that.
Ain't that much. Hate to figure what would happen if I ever ran out. Hate to think about it. It'd be terrible to have to go without it.
Well, I'll tell you something.
What's that?
That bank of yours isn't there. You're going to get the chance. Because of Fred Madison's condition, it was difficult to know how much of the truth he was telling us. We went back to the car and started to drive toward Canoga Park. On the way, we stopped and put in a call to Mrs. Halmer. Her husband still hadn't returned. Madison directed us to drive to a ranch-type house on Kelvin Avenue. By the time we got there, it stopped raining. We parked the car and walked up to the house. There were no lights on and no answer when we rang the bell.
All right, Madison, you through playing games now?
Bank's out in the backyard.
What?
Backyard. There's a barbecue out there. The bank's a tin can near there.
All right, show us.
Sure. I used to live in this house.
That's so.
Yeah, always figured that someday I was going to need some money. One time I just went out and buried some. Figured there'd be a time when I was going to need it.
Yeah.
And it's a tin can near the barbecue.
What time were you here today?
Well, I don't know. I don't have a watch.
Haven't got any idea, huh?
Sorry. That catch is kind of tricky. You got to pull it towards you. I always meant to fix that when we lived here.
All right, now where's the barbecue?
Well, one of you got a flashlight? Now, let me have it.
You tell us where you want it pointed.
See, you don't trust anybody.
Where's the barbecue?
It's over in the corner of the yard right near the fence.
Where, over here?
Now, swing the light over to the left.
All right.
There's nothing there.
Maybe I made a mistake. It's been a while since I've been here. It must be in the other corner of the yard.
Over here, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Take a good look. You're not doing so good tonight, are you, Madison?
Oh, I don't understand it. I saw it today.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the owner of the house.
Yeah, we'll check with him.
I sure don't understand it. Right in the corner of the yard near the fence.
Something you fellas are looking for?
Police officer, sir. We tried the door. There wasn't anybody home.
Can you tell me what this is all about?
You live here, do you?
That's right. What are you looking for?
You know anything about a barbecue pit in the backyard here?
Yeah, what?
You want to tell us where it is?
I tore it down 3 months ago.
We returned Fred Madison to the office for further interrogation. Frank and I attempted to talk to him without result. He said he couldn't remember where he'd gotten the money. He couldn't tell us where Jason Halmer was. We put in a call to the missing man's home, but he still hadn't returned. We rechecked the hospitals and the jails without result. 1:14 a.m. We were ready to give it up for the night. Frank went over to the office, and I got Madison ready to leave.
You going to take me to jail now?
You called it. Come on.
Joe.
Hold it up, Madison. What do you got?
A call just came in about Halmer's car.
Hmm.
They just found it.
While men from the business office took Madison over to the main jail for booking, Frank and I drove out to the valley again. Halmer's car had been found about a mile off Topanga Canyon Boulevard on Farview Road. It was back off the road and partially hidden by the trees. When we got there, a radio car was standing by. We talked to the officer.
Take a look at the back. Stuff on the ground there. I covered it with the boxes in case it started to rain again.
That's good.
These stains here on the ground, I don't know if they're going to mean anything.
You got anything we can use to open this trunk?
I'll check our car.
All right.
What do you think?
I don't know. Better get in touch with the crime lab, have them come out and go over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got something. Right.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Can you get it?
Put that light over here, will you?
Yeah. How's that?
That's better.
You need some help?
No. I got it here. Once more ought to do it now. Yeah, there we are. Let's get it open now. Thought maybe we'd be wrong.
Yeah.
It's Halmer. We put in a call to the crime lab, and they came out and made an investigation of the scene. From what we could tell, Halmer had been killed by some sort of blunt instrument. His empty wallet was in the trunk beside the body. 6:48 a.m. We had Fred Madison brought from his cell.
I feel lousy. My head feels like it don't belong to me.
Why don't you tell us the truth?
Well, you haven't told me what this is about. There's no reason why I should answer your questions if I don't know what you're trying to get
We
at.
told you. We want the truth.
All these questions over and over, the same things.
You can make it easy on yourself.
Well, how?
Come up with the right answers.
But I've told you.
Yeah, like the bar you went to called the I Don't Know, huh?
I'd tell you the name if I knew. I've been drinking pretty good.
I'll get it.
Right.
Yeah. Here, Joe.
Madison?
Yeah?
This is about your bank.
What do you mean?
This explains where you got the money.
What?
When you took the currency from Halmer's wallet, you left 3 perfect prints on one of the celluloid envelopes.
You mean something has happened to Halmer?
You tell us.
Come on, you can drop the bluff. These prints are enough to indict you. You want to tell us?
He was going to send me to jail. I didn't get the money at the track. I tried to get him to give me some more time.
Yeah.
He was so righteous about it, said I had enough time. He was going to go to the police.
Mm-hmm.
I pleaded with him, but he wouldn't listen. It happened real quick. Maybe if I hadn't been drinking, it might not have been this way. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I started to think about the big trouble was in, I figured it was all that kind of money.
Is that right?
There really was a guy at the track, you know. He was going to lend me the money to pay home.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd loaned me the money, it would have solved everything.
What was another way?
What do you mean?
That money you owed Halmer?
Yeah.
You could have worked for it.
Frederick Carson Madison was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. On recommendation of the jury, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.